Oh my.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is it. Stand in line for your fix. DeMarcus and Marcus in the mix, serving you yet another round of fish and grits. July 11th, 2017. How's it going for you, my man?
Man, it's going all right. I'm getting ready to after this podcast, I'm watching that show, The Tales, that's on BT. I don't know
Nice.
if you caught that one
I
yet.
seen a nice preview of it. I haven't caught the actual episode yet. Has the
Hey,
first episode already came out?
yeah, the first episode came out and they did a spin of the NWA Fuck the Police, and they did it, they do it a spin where the white people are the black people, and how it is nowadays, and
Oh,
then
so
the
they
white people,
reversed everything.
they
Okay.
reversed the whole role, and it started off weak. But man, when it got to the ending, I said, "Damn, they really had something going." It was you at first. You look at the white characters acting black, and you was like, "Man, this shit's fucking corny as fuck." But then after a while, you start believing that shit. Like, damn, this hoe is kind of live. And I was like, I hope more people watch that show because it's a good spin on the whole white and black thing, looking at it from a different viewpoint.
Oh, nice early plug. We definitely gonna have to catch that out, man. Bringing in another serving. We got the triple shot going on today. My man Wilson is back in effect. How's it going for you, bro?
I am all good, man. It is a great day to be alive. I am 1 day away from my wife's birthday and three
Nice.
days away from my birthday. We will be celebrating it in LA for our family reunion this
Oh, that's
weekend.
beautiful,
So
man. I hope you have
looking
a
forward to
safe
that,
trip, bro.
man. Yeah, I appreciate that. But yeah,
How long gonna be out of town, man?
we'll be out for the weekend. We're gonna leave on Thursday. We'll be back Tuesday.
Beautiful,
Uh,
beautiful.
Getting it in, little sun, little sights. My wife's never been to LA before, so I know she's looking forward to that.
First time for everything. There we go.
Hey man, it's gonna be nice out there, and it should be a nice little temperature going on. Should be better than this Houston heat.
I was about to say anything's better than this sauna that I'm
Anything,
living in right now.
Exactly.
anything. Man, we had a little heated debate last week, but I did want to get your quick input on the Jay-Z 444 album, Wilson. I know you're a native New Yorker, so you grew up in the times where hip hop was coming up. So I want to know how did you feel about this album and what do you rank this as one of his albums?
You know what? We're gonna get it down to the bare minimum and get to the get down with it. It's an awesome album, man. It's dope. It's hip hop. It's rap. It's everything that you would expect from Sean Carter to deliver at age 47. But in that same light, let's not be so quick with some of these people with their reactions. First and foremost, as much as I love my man Jay, and I mean I love some Jay-Z, you will never hear me say Jay-Z and Conscious album in the same sentence. Just doesn't work that way. Always understand that with time and understanding, your mindset changes. The way that you talk about life and love and girls and what's important to you at age 20 is going to be greatly different at age 40. So it's more of a natural progression thing than Jay-Z woke up and made a conscious album thing. No, because in all Jay-Z's albums, he's been conscious. He's just been more conscious about doing what it takes to make that dollar. So he'll give you what it is that you want to hear in a great way to hear it and in a way that makes asses shake and clubs fill up and concerts sell out. This is no different. In a time where you got mumble music, trap music, whatever kind of cliche they want to put out and stuff like that, he came in as an elder statesman and he looked at the young bucks and didn't throw any shade on what they doing, but by the same token, let you know I'm grown, I'm past that point, I'm past that mindset. This is what's important to me now. This is what I think about now. And it's my place as that OG, that elder statesman, to give you a little bit of something so that you can better yourself coming down the pipe because I didn't have that coming up.
Right. What's your top three songs if you had to pick three of them?
Oh man, I love that Family Feud. It's just catchy.
It's real chill. It's real chill and mellow. I love
I
it.
like Family Feud. Of course, I like the OJ. But I mean, with people in my age bracket, that's stuff that we talk about, forever. And then the title track, 444, I think is pretty live. I mean, overall, there's no track on that album that I dislike. Top to bottom, it's a great body of work. It's reminiscent of the complexities and yet the completeness of his Reasonable Doubt, of his Black album, of his Blueprint One. It's in that genre. American Gangster, I do not put in a category with anything else that he's ever done because to me, for what it is, how he did it, and how he basically dove in almost the way that an actor gets into character, That
Mhm.
album will always stay completely separate and special to me from anything that he's ever done in his entire discography.
And you know what? I'm glad you said that. I'm sorry to prolong this conversation, but I like how you said that because back in 2007, when that album dropped, I'm gonna be honest with you, I was a bootlegger. I made bootleg CDs for and sold them at school. And when that album dropped, I thought it was the soundtrack to American Gangster, so that's why I thought I was cutting it. And I didn't know Jay-Z dropped an album, American Gangster. So when I jammed that hoe, I was just like, damn, I didn't know Jay-Z spit like that. And it made me go back and really appreciate some of his older work. And I always say that's one of his greatest albums because it actually introduced me to the lyrical side of Jay-Z, where I was just listening to like whatever was hot on the radio. That actually made me
Exactly.
dwell a little bit deeper into his lyrics. And I was like, you know what? This dude has really got it going on. And I felt like that when he dropped this album.
No doubt, no
And that's
doubt.
one of the big things about Jay-Z, man, and a lot of traditional East Coast rappers, not to extend it, but just for quick clarification, one of the things that make people like Jay-Z and Biggie different from a lot of our favorite rappers, the Snoops, the Ice Cubes to a certain extent, folks like that, is that a lot of great rappers that we know and we respect are respected because they're considered to just be poets.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Biggie and Jay Z, Ludacris to a certain extent, Andre 3000, Cube, just off the top of my head, for people that I look at, they're storytellers. You can visualize exactly what they're saying, and it brings a
Mm-hmm.
different level of the way that they rap to the masses, and it gives you a different perspective on what it is that they're saying. When you heard that American Gangster soundtrack, I forgot that Denzel played Frank Lucas. I could have swore that it
Exactly.
was Jay Z. You know, when you
Exactly.
get people that put you in that kind of mindset where they can frame up and you can literally see everything that they're saying, bar for bar, lyric for lyric, word for word, that is a quality that is few and far between
True.
when it comes to hip hop and rap in general.
I love the knowledge that he just dropped on that one.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt. You know, Marcus, let me I'm gonna start this off with you. What are some of the best home run hitters that you've seen? I know in your brief
Oh,
time
sweet
of
mother of
watching.
everything. Thank you for asking me that question.
Go ahead. What's a few?
Other than the gentleman that we just saw on full display last night, and yes, I am extremely biased because I'm a Yankees fan. That's the fourth home run derby champion that we've had, the most by any other Major League Baseball team. Starting with Tino Martinez in '97, you had Jason Giambi in 2002, Robinson Cano in
Jason could hit. A lot
2012,
of people don't realize
uh,
it.
and Aaron Judge this year. Uh, home runs. It's some of those things that some people can get jacked up, get maybe a little supplement infused, and develop a little bit more oomph on the swing to put a few more balls out than they usually can. But then you have guys that can just naturally bring that thing and swing that thing.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, you look at God bless them. They really didn't need to, but all of these folks that we fuss about from the steroids era, starting with Barry Bonds, Mark McGuire, Jose Canseco. Them dudes
Mhm.
didn't need to take steroids. They could
Yeah,
hit it
they was
out of the
Barry
stadium.
Bonds was a Hall of Famer before the steroids. So
Yeah, Hall of
Exactly.
Fame. Barry Bonds was 4 or 5 times our MVP already before
yeah,
steroids
already
even came up.
with the
He
Pirates,
just did that
exactly.
to keep up with the Joneses.
Mm-hmm.
That was an ego
The
thing
Mark
more than anything
McGuire,
else.
Sammy Sosa. Yeah, true, true.
But you get great power hitters. You look at the consistency. You look at the manner in which they do it. You look at a guy that's so effortless, like a Reggie Jackson. If you can go back and look at film, uh, just a flick of the wrist and it's out of there. You look at a Mike Schmidt from back in the day, played for the Phillies third baseman,
Mm-hmm.
was another guy that was like that. You come back forward more towards this time, the guys that I mentioned before, the Bonds, Canseco's, McGuire's. Uh, you have those guys that just have that tremendous power and stuff like that. One of the guys that I think that's underrated, and I don't think that he really pays attention to do it more now, but I think as he gets closer to his prime, he will. Carlos Correa, who I'm a huge fan of for the
Oh yeah,
Astros,
oh
has
yeah.
one of the most violent swings by a shortstop that I've ever seen. Like that
He's
bat
still
comes
kind of light.
around
If
vicious. Yeah,
he pack on a couple pounds, he will be a big time
oh
hitter.
yes,
I can
you will
definitely agree
see a
with that.
stretch where Carlos Correa will average about 25 to 30 home runs a year
Easy,
at
easy. Yeah,
shortstop. Easy,
yeah.
easy. George Springer, his teammate,
He's doing it
is
now.
looking
And lead off.
super effortless,
Yeah,
hitting that thing out the park. Gary Sanchez, the other guy from the Yankees that competed in the home run derby, he gets banged up a lot. But the reason that he got called up from the Yankees is because he's arguably their best pure power hitter on
mm,
their entire team. Uh, it's a lot of guys out there that are fun to watch, man. That can rake it. Miami's own Giancarlo Stanton has been a favorite of
Hmm.
mine for years. Absolutely crushes it. You know, going back, I liked for the brothers that were still in the game. I love to watch the Big Hurt, Frank Thomas. I love watching the kid, the guy Howard from the Phillies when they
Hmm.
were winning.
Yeah,
Uh,
Ryan
you
Howard.
know, because it's one of those things that, you know, especially for African Americans, man, it's a lost art. People don't get as interested in it because they see the fast money elsewhere and in other sports and the notoriety and stuff like that. But people don't understand baseball was the first pro sport that they ever really let us play and be good at.
Hmm.
Uh, it was one of the first ways that we can make a living in that arena, quote unquote.
Hmm.
Uh, so, you know, it's a lot of history for it as far as Black America is concerned when it comes to baseball. It's a shame that a lot of Black Americans really don't get into baseball as much as they used to. But I mean, it's understandable as
Yeah,
well.
it's
I mean,
understandable. I mean, because
marketability
I,
you
and
got to have
stuff like
that
that.
live feature of it
well,
too.
you know, I
Go
fall
ahead, bro.
victim to that because I fall in that crowd of the African American population that does not care one iota about baseball, and it's just not so much as the appeal because playing it is fun. And my son right now, he seems like that's going to be the route that he's want to take. You know, he's swinging the ball better than most 3-year-olds I've ever seen, but it just doesn't have that appeal to me. It doesn't have that fast paced entertainment that I like to
Because
watch for my sports.
it's
You
too
And you're
can't
much.
get
absolutely right with that. We exist in a world now where we're kind of ADHD. We want stuff to
exactly.
happen quick, fast, and in a hurry. We're on that microwave time. We're not
Hmm.
on sundial. We're on stopwatch. We want it in there, out there, in there, out there. I'm not here to watch no 2-0 game. That's why people don't like soccer as well. You know what I'm saying? Now, if
Yeah.
you're in a baseball game and you see somebody hitting 7 home runs and somebody lose 14 to
I get
12, oh,
excited.
well, you know, that's a game. You
Yeah.
know, it's
Hmm.
different. But it's all a part of that marketability. But a lot of it, too, comes up with where you grow up, how you grow up, and what you grow up around. Because if you grow up in a baseball rich area, it just kind of comes by default. I grew up in New York City, but I have family on my father's side that's from Cincinnati. So I grew up watching the Yankees and the Reds all the time.
Hmm.
So I'll always love baseball because that's one of the two most storied franchises in baseball. The most
True.
successful franchise in the Yankees and the oldest franchise, the oldest baseball team in America is the Cincinnati Reds. A lot of people don't know that too. Uh, my grandmother was friends with Dave Parker's mom, who was a great Cincinnati Reds player. So I got to meet guys like Eric Davis, Barry Larkin, Johnny Bench, Joe Morgan, stuff like that. So I've always gravitated towards baseball because it's always been around me. But you can't really say that for people that don't live in baseball cities.
And you are connected to sports. I see that.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh,
And that's
sports is what
that's
I
why
do.
that's why I wanted to ask you this, man. Like when you look at Aaron Judge, how good can he be? Because it seems like he can be great. He already seems like he's one of the best hitters I've seen. When he hits a home run, that shit travels fast. It's out.
And
It's
fun.
gone.
I
Ain't
mean,
no
just
question about it.
it's incredible to look at because they had a stretch last night, and it was funny because it's the first time I've seen it too. He had a stretch last night where he swung the bat 4 times and hit 4 home runs, and 3 of those 4 home runs went at least 500 feet.
Hmm.
Shit.
Only person to hit 500 plus feet.
That's pretty
That's that's
impressive.
that's uh, that's that's crazy.
Rookie year.
Factor into it that last year at this time he was in AAA.
Mm-hmm. He just
Factor also into this for all of us analytic
that's
geeks
like the
and
D League,
and
Griffin.
yeah,
I,
and people that
I,
wanna
I
people
heard.
that wanna look into it a little deeper and stuff like that. Aaron Judge is pretty much the same size as LeBron. He's 6'7",
Yeah,
250. He's
yeah, he's
and
huge.
and still growing a little bit because he's still
Mhm.
relatively
He's
young.
still young, very young.
Is
You
that
can
why?
by his face, he's young. Go ahead,
Is
Mark.
that why they made that comparison on what I've been seeing on sports media about him and the comparisons of him and LeBron?
Well,
Yeah,
not only just physically, but the way that he's really taking baseball by
by
storm. I
storm.
mean, he's
Yeah,
breaking a
in the
lot of
best
records
market,
with what he's doing. He's in the
in the
best
best
market.
market to
He's in
do
the
so.
most
Also,
famous team,
hmm
and you go through like he has 30 home runs at the break, which
Hmm.
broke
MVP.
the rookie record.
I think he's
It
gonna
broke
get
the rookie
MVP.
record of Joe DiMaggio. When you start getting your name mentioned in the same breath as people like Joe DiMaggio in baseball,
In the first
yeah,
half.
yeah. I mean,
That's
first
pretty
half of your
impressive.
rookie year, if you're already breaking records held by somebody like Joe DiMaggio, you're not off to a bad start.
You're doing something. You're doing something. And
But
like I said,
I think he has potential if he stays healthy, man. He's gonna be another one of those cornerstones for the Yankee organization, and you might see that
and they
99 get retired when it's all said and done, like that number two just did.
and they gonna end up paying one of these Astros. I'm just waiting to see which one
Oh,
it's gonna
Carlos
be.
Correa is gonna be a Yankee.
I can see
Don't worry about it.
either
It's all good.
him or Altuve. I see
No,
Wyoming.
Altuve loves Houston too much. Altuve's gonna retire in Astro unless the
Man,
Astros just get rid of him.
yeah, I
Carlos
think
Correa,
if
I
the
think will be a
Astros can
Yankee.
get a championship out this team, they'll let them all walk. We're so damn cheap. All they need is one championship, and they'll let everybody walk.
And you know the funny thing about it with the
Sound about right.
Astros, and more importantly, let me give my PSA to these Astros fans: don't get too ahead of yourselves because I get people to talk noise to me and stuff. Oh yeah, you know the Astros, we doing this, we doing that, we beating up, we just finished beating the Yankees, and we look.
It's all regular season.
Yeah, I heard they.
Congratulations on that All-Star break championship, but you still got a little bit of ways to
A
go.
long ways to
And I
go.
heard something about the they were saying the number one team in MLB never made it to the World Series ever or something like
I
that. I heard.
mean, you go through and it's a lot of people that at the break have had fantastic records that
Mhm.
ended up not doing anything at the end of the season. It's
I
not how
remember
you. It's
I remember
truly
when
not how you
Oakland
start. It's how
A's
you
won
finish.
like 50
It's how
straight.
you play its matchups.
50
I
straight
mean,
years. Didn't make the World Series.
I heard something about your pitcher rotation and something like that.
Yeah, you go through. I mean, there's so many factors that go into what it is that constitutes a good baseball team. Right now, the Astros are amazingly in sync and they're hitting on all cylinders in all phases of the game. It's the equivalent in football. If your team is just on it, offense, defense, and special teams, you have no holes. You just constantly 45 to 10 on people every single week. That's the Astros right now.
Yeah.
Literally.
The
Their
Patriots.
offense looks like the 99 Rams. It's like the greatest show on turf. Like everybody can take it deep on you.
hmm That entire lineup is very dangerous, and when you
Yeah.
got a lineup full of 5-tool athletes, you should have this kind of success. But it don't mean nothing if you don't get it done in October.
Exactly, and not
That's
to
what it
take
all boils
anything
down
away
to.
from them. They have some very good distinctions right now. They're one of the top 5 teams all time as far as producing runs on the
Mhm.
road, which is a great stat to have
But
if you're
the
trying to go
problem
through and
is
win.
when those bats get cold, the
That's
Astros
the problem. They got to
suck.
persevere because that pitching isn't strong enough to carry them
It's
over.
not strong enough to win a 1-0 game. It's not at all.
Yeah, they're not going to win 2-0 games.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. They don't have that kind of pitching set up. They have it with McCullers every once in a while and with Keuchel, but the rest of their rotation isn't set up that way. And if you only have 2 out of 5 starters that can carry you like that, your
And then,
bats have to stay hot, or you're going to get into a world trouble.
and then you got the suspension of Paulino, so that's just another
Yeah.
thing. That's just another thing to be concerned about because you gave him a couple good innings.
Oh yeah. Oh
But
yeah.
man, have y'all been keeping up with the Big Three league? I mean, anything that's impressing
Oh
y'all about it?
man.
Al Harrington still got it.
That's
Them
about it.
high
I
ass
want it.
ticket prices.
What? How did?
I mean, but they only selling out like half.
Big Three is about to come to Dallas. My homeboy, one of my best friends, I went to college
Yeah,
with.
July 30th.
He's looking into it. He was looking into tickets to take his nieces
Damn.
to go see it or whatever and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
You talking about they charging you NBA prices, player. They charging you like $300 for them first 2 rows a pop. I have not seen
To sit next to
anything.
Cube, I gotta pay $3.
I have not seen anything on that Big Three league that would justify or even entice me to want to pay $300 to go see it.
Not that
I,
much.
I'm mixed because you got some folks that still got it a little bit. Harrington, a couple of dudes out there,
Ricky
but
Davis look good.
I'm not gonna go out there
Lamar
to
Johnson.
sit and cry because I'm looking at Allen Iverson looking like Eddie Kane on the 5 heartbeats. I can't do it. I can't do it.
Allen do be sitting on that sideline.
I watched this man
He do be
struggle on
riding that
back-to-back
sideline.
2-point games. I watched him struggle on back-to-back 2-point games. I
He
can't
don't
do
look
it.
like he got it. He don't look like he got it. But
Yeah.
Al Harrington is out there balling.
Oh yeah.
Man, Al Harrington was my favorite unsung heroes back when he was playing with Denver. I kind of wish the Rockets got him, but man, he really.
I always
like
liked Al's game, man. I always thought he was a good player. It just took him a little while, doing that.
He came in out of high school though, so he
Yeah.
had to find his moves. But man, the move he pulled yesterday, the spin move, finishing with the left, I'm like, Jesus, Al.
It was beautiful. And then the thing about this league is, I like it that it kind of gives you something to look forward to and something to
just something different.
Yeah, because it's actually, who would have thought that? I didn't think free agency would have been that entertaining this year. So it kind of kept me on my toes. But besides
Best free
that,
agency ever, I think, man.
Exactly.
This
This has been one of the better free agency periods for NBA in their entire history. I know Adam Silver is gobbling this up like a champ. He has to be in hog heaven right now because I don't think I don't even think he thought the free agency would be this lit.
I never thought I'd see so many stars leave at one time. Paul George, Gordon Hayward. Oh, man, Chris Paul. I didn't think he was leaving. I thought he was going to
Yeah,
go
the
get
mass
that money
migrations and stuff have been significant, and I think it's just the tip of the iceberg because I think that you might have just as much movement next season.
next year. Exactly, because it's a lot of big names coming off the board.
It's
But
a
yeah, the big
And then
three.
it's a lot of these guys that are signing this year that
1 year
are doing
deals.
that.
Yeah,
Let
that
me do
1 year
the
deal.
2 year with that player option in the second year, so I'm technically only doing a 1 year deal, that kind of thing. So some
Mhm.
of these guys that were in the mix this season will be right back in that same mix
Yes,
next
sir.
season.
So
Yeah,
you
exactly.
guys,
But that big three league is really entertaining. And I'm sorry,
It's different.
I'm hoping that it still keeps going and it grabs other players of that caliber. Me personally, I like to see KG get in there or Paul Pierce or some of the just the fresh retirees to keep it
Maybe a
going. But
Ray
I don't know
Allen
how
if
it's
they
gonna
can
go.
get enough
yeah,
money in
but
there, and
hon-
Man, Ray
somebody
Allen,
honestly,
like
fuck,
that.
man. Fuck Ray Allen, man. I'm tired of Ray Allen.
Oh, the
oh,
hatred.
oh,
Oh man,
Oh, the
Ray
hatred.
Allen, man.
what Ray
That
Allen do to
shot.
you?
Man,
Sir,
that
that
shot,
amount of
man.
hatred does
I
not
wanted
match
the
your
Spurs
outfit.
to no. I wanted the Spurs to beat the Heat. Honestly, I was tired of LeBron. That was my all-time high of hating LeBron because he just beat the Thunder, and I said, "Fuck LeBron. I need the Spurs to beat him." And when I saw that shot, I was like, "Fuck Ray
Well, as
Allen."
much as it pains me to say it, don't fuck Ray Allen. Be mad at Pop, because if Pop didn't take Duncan out, Bosh don't get that
That's
rebound
true.
to kick
If
it out to
Manu hit
Allen.
free throws,
I
man,
mean,
come on.
hey,
Yeah,
Manu
and the
did
free
blow them
throws, yes,
blue
sir.
shit out them free throws.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? Manu, Kawhi, they all missed free throws down the stretch. It was a
Kawhi
team.
did
It
miss
was a
some.
team effort in that loss, so I
It
can't blame
was,
any one
it was,
person.
but that shot, man, that shot was a dagger, man. They had that trophy reeled
Oh
out on
yeah,
the side.
but I
I've
mean
never
that's what
seen
you
It
that
pay
was
before.
Ray
done.
Allen for. That's
It was
that's
a
what Ray
wrap.
Allen does.
That's
Hey,
true.
man, that was
That's true.
impressive. That was Robert Orius.
Yeah, that's
Well, I
very
don't
true.
know about all that. I ain't
Well,
gonna
No,
lie.
yeah,
no, come on,
what
you
that was
gotta give
probably
Orius.
better
That
than
was
Ray
very
Ray
clutch.
Ori.
Ray shot is more pure than Robert. I don't care.
Oh, look at this
Oh,
dude. Oh man, the disrespect is
he was
too
the
real.
third.
Man, after that disrespectful nonsense that Robert Ory came out here down talking to everybody in
Hey, don't
favor
talk
of
about Hakeem. Don't talk about Hakeem.
old Akeem Olajuwon, I'll never
Don't
talk
start
about
this.
Akeem because I have respect for great players,
There you go.
regardless of who they play for. But I'm also a realist, and I'm also, kind of true to the point, stuff like that. Let's not romanticize or go beyond because it's a reason why the level of success that he achieved is only the amount that it is. I mean, we talk about him as though he should have 10, but at the end of the day, he only has
Look
two,
at look
and
at
that's
the
not by
coaching
accident.
issues he had, dude. I mean, he had a lot of
And
coaching.
and
They
you
couldn't
know
get it right.
what?
He wasn't supposed
Everybody
to
has
have
their
Rudy.
own factors. Everybody has their own reasons for why this is and that is and this is and that is. But at the end of the day, we're not talking about what ifs and potential. We're simply discussing what it
Man,
is, what
Are
it
we
if
was
talking
at the
about
end
if
of the
Olajuwon
day.
now?
if Hakeem had Pop, we talking about a different career.
Oh
That's all.
man, you
But
talking
see,
about the
that's
all
it.
time?
But see, now you're talking about hypotheticals. I'm not talking about hypotheticals. I'm just talking about the body of work that I have seen. Period. That's it.
Hey, Hakeem
We
helped.
can we can remix and we can talk about okay. If Dave Robinson's back didn't get hurt, they'd have probably won in '03, '04, and '05.
Shit, if Dave
But I
Robinson back
mean,
and get hurt,
hey,
they probably would never had Tim Duncan.
Yeah, true.
no, they would have had him.
You
I'm
still think they
talking
would have
about
drafted
later
him?
in life when he got hurt in 2000 and 2001 is when his back really started to like leave. That's
Yeah,
why he was out of gas by the time he got to '03. Even though he did average a double double that season, but it was a reason why he went ahead and laid it down after '03. That back was like Bird and McGrady. It just wasn't gonna hold up with all the
you
way
can't
that he
fight that
played.
off. Can't
Nah,
fight.
you can't, you can't, you
You
can't fight
can't.
that.
That's what scares me about JJ Watt. Just to throw that out there
Yeah,
too.
exactly. That's what
Well,
really scares me about JJ.
I really try not to talk about JJ when it comes to that because I'm nervous for him too. I'm a big
Yeah.
fan of his, like
Oh,
the kid.
I'm nervous. Oh, I
Those
love.
Um,
back injuries
Oh, I love
ain't
him,
nothing
man.
to play
but
with.
yeah, exactly. When you're talking about a guy that generates that much power and that much torque, and he's that physical on every single
Look,
play because
every
he's
play
not the
he
type to take a
don't know
play
how to take it
off.
off. Yeah.
And when you're that tall and you're that long, there's really only so much that you can do to
Dude,
actually
exactly.
protect his back. So it's like, wrong chop block, wrong hit there, whether
That's it.
intentional or not, and that can
That's
be
it.
it, you know.
hmm And he can really mess his body up doing playing like that. So
Exactly. I'm more concerned about his life after
long term.
football. A
Exactly.
lot of people just don't really care about these athletes and stuff like
Mhm.
that. I understand from a fan standpoint how you can be limited in that perspective, but when you get to a certain age, you understand that these guys are, they're not
Humans too.
only all pros, they're dads, they're
hmm
brothers, they're uncles, they're,
They're
they're
Boyfriends,
people.
husbands, you know what I'm saying? They have responsibilities outside of the field. Sorry, they have bills to pay and people that look up and look forward to them, on a daily basis.
because he
Not
can
just us
retire.
meatheads that's just rooting for stats.
But he can call it quitting and call it a nice career, and he can live off of his endorsements.
Oh,
Basically,
we're at a day and age now where there's no athlete in any sport that you can really say that if they've had any kind of success or been established for more than 4 or 5 years, that they couldn't live off of what they've already made. The way that
exactly.
the world works right now, and the way that these salary caps for all major sports are, if
Mhm.
you've had a nice run and you've gotten at least one contract
And you're
extension,
smart with
you
your
should
money.
have enough. You should
Yeah,
have enough money to live off of for the rest of your life.
exactly, and your children.
Exactly.
Exactly. I mean, you go through and you talk to the right people and you get to the right things. I had to do a paper for this when I was in college. You can technically live off $1 million for the rest of your life, off the interest alone, if
I
you're
agree with
smart with
that.
your money.
I can agree with that.
That's true. And if you want a millionaires, you can listen to that 444 album and buy you a
Man,
$1 million painting and
man,
let
you
that
know
little
what's better
bad
than
boy
buying them?
accumulate.
It's better than buying them $300 big three courtside seats.
Yeah,
Credit.
credit.
Man,
Uh,
I think the big three in the right direction. I do think for a first year start, they had a solid roster. You know,
Exactly.
I think
Yeah,
signing Allen.
they're good on the name talent. They're good on that as far as being able to grab people and stuff like that. And then the
and
other thing about them is the timeliness because they're coming around and their league is getting started in a year where the Olympic Committee just designated 3-on-3 as an international Olympic event.
I
So
still
it's going to get attraction by default on that as well.
I think that was a jumping point also for the Olympic Committee to even vote on that and give that the okay, just so seeing the drawing interest that
Exactly.
the big three was getting just on name value alone. And then you have and on top of that, if you don't even concerned about the names of the players and you just watch the game, it's entertaining.
It's
like
competitive.
Exactly. It's
90s
competitive. Those guys are out
basketball.
there playing. They're out there
Exactly.
playing.
It's 90s basketball in today's game, and I'm just like, damn, I wish the NBA had this.
And I don't know about y'all, but Charles Oakley is my favorite character on there. Just
What?
just
What?
Charles
What?
Oakley be cracking me up.
Who let this thug coach this team? Who let this thug call the shots?
Did you see Gary Payton sitting on that man lap like a couple of weeks ago? I was
Yeah.
like, what's going on right
Man.
now? What's going on right now?
Charles Oakley, my God, man.
Hey,
Charles Oakley will always be my dude. Big oak tree, second
Shout out to
most famous player out of Cleveland in basketball history.
I'm not a fan of this person, but don't quote me on this. LeVar Ball is going to be a coach in one of them teams next year.
I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it at all. And I wouldn't be mad at it.
I wouldn't either. It'd be a good move. It'll be an entertainment factor. And
Hey, if you're trying to get that publicity, you're trying to get that dollar, you're trying to get that endorsement dollar. Oh yes.
Don't let Lonzo have a good year. He's gonna be
he's gonna have a good year, so that's beside the point. He's gonna have a good year. You can remember that I said this on this podcast. You can book it. He's gonna have a good year. He's gonna make all rookie team.
Oh, we'll drop them dimes then.
He's going to lead all rookies in assists this year.
He led the nation.
There's certain things that only hate can take so far. At the end of the day, regardless of what you think about his dad, that kid was a lottery pick before you heard his dad open his mouth.
This is Marcus from 2018 who's joining us.
Yeah.
He's been there. He's seen it. Who won?
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
I mean, I was on record saying like as soon as the tournament ended, like Lonzo's gonna be special. This guy can pass. His court vision is spectacular.
Exactly. Kid was already projected to be a lottery pick before his dad started opening his mouth.
And somebody
a player that loves to set up his teammates. That's the type of player you want at point guard.
Exactly. And then somebody had to check me the other day because I've been so enamored with offense, and he's been struggling on offense, so it kind of took me back. But then I went and looked at some of the highlights, and I saw his passes and the way.
And that's the thing. Offense is more than just shooting. Nowadays, we're being pre-programmed to think that offense is all about you shooting the ball in the basket,
getting in and out of the offense. Do you have a point guard that can shoot or get in and out of the offense?
His shot wasn't falling for him, even in that first game where they talked about him being so terrible and stuff like that. But the offense ran pretty smooth, even with him struggling with his shot. And the offense still ran smooth. It was never stagnant. Yeah, it was never stagnant. It never had them points where the ball stopped and you just couldn't move anywhere. It wasn't flowing. The ball was constantly moving. He constantly had the offense flowing. His shot just wasn't falling.
And Randall he's gonna be a good de facto of getting a lot of those passes.
Oh yeah,
he's gonna be nice this year.
Yeah, he's a good playmaker as is. He ran the point guard position a lot last year.
I can't wait to see how his game is gonna open up, just because he's gonna find open lanes with. They're gonna spread that ball and they're gonna open that the flow of that offense. I would like to see the Lakers have a great season, but then again, if they have great season than
Well, we're not going to get
Celtics.
ahead of ourselves. The
We going
Lakers are still going to struggle. They're still taking steps, but they're going to make progress. I look for them to win maybe 30 to 40 games. 30 to 40 games.
Oh, 40. 30 to 40. Wow, I gave them a 33.
If everything clicks the way that they want it to, and these guys like kind of live up to their potential, I can see them winning 40 games.
See, and I say that, but the thing is, I see it as a minimum to get into the 8th seed. You need like a.
Oh, I'm sorry. I wasn't talking about them being a playoff team. To be a playoff team in the West, you're gonna have to win about 49 games.
See, that's what I'm saying. If I'm coming here with the mindset that an 8 seed that needs 48 or 49 wins, I don't see the Lakers getting that many wins.
Oh no, by no means.
Because it's going to be a struggle. That's why I couldn't see 40 because.
But it's still progress, though. If they win 40, that's still progress. It's still progress. I didn't say they were going to be a playoff team this year. I just said that they were going to make progress.
Yeah,
I think they're still 2 years away. I still think they're 2 years and a free agent pick away from playoff contention at this point, especially in the way that the West is currently constructed.
Hey, they still got Brook Lopez though. Brook Lopez is gonna give him some tough buckets down there. He
is
not 45 wins worth of buckets, but he's gonna win a couple games.
Oh no, he's gonna help out on that interior.
And there's 2 rookies besides Lonzo that everybody checking for.
Darren Fox.
No. I'm not even checking for Darren Fox. Man, I'm looking for. Listen.
You're not looking for sophomore?
No, look, no. Okay,
go ahead.
But the rookies that I'm checking for is Dennis Smith Jr. and Jason Tatum. They have impressed me the most in summer league that I can see them having great rookie seasons and they fall to the wayside.
I think they're gonna make the all rookie team too. I can see that.
I agree with you on one of the two.
Oh, and that's got to be Tatum probably.
I agree with you on Tatum. No. I agree with you on Tatum. Smith is just kind of obvious to me. You just look at his game, you already know he's a score first point guard. I mean, he's a playmaker. He's electric. Got that explosive burst. He has that blend of Derrick Rose, Russell Westbrook type tendencies and stuff like that. So he's going to take care of himself. It's fine. The one thing that you got surprised with from Jason Tatum that a lot of people really didn't give him credit for, Jason Tatum is the throwback in this rookie class.
Yeah.
You've never seen any rookie in this entire summer league hit mid-range jumpers the way that Jason Tatum has so far in this summer league. That dude from mid-range is an assassin, and that's a lost art.
He has a Dirk-like jumper, fadeaway jumper. He had a corkscrew jumper like Dirk, and I was like, "Damn, this dude is impressive." And that's what
he actually works on his footwork.
Exactly.
When you can go through and you can have that presence of mind on the court, and not only that, but like in old school fashion, you can pick and choose the mid-range spots on the floor. That's like a hole in a zone defense in football, to where ain't nobody really checking for you or expecting you to be in that spot, but I'm gonna light your ass up all day long as soon as they pass it to me there. He's an assassin from mid-range because they don't teach you to guard the mid-range shot anymore. They don't even encourage you to take mid-range shots anymore in the NBA. They don't
know how to close out on mid-range shots. They don't know how to close out on long-range shots.
And that's what Boston needs.
They either crash the rim or they guard the wing. That's it. They don't do anything in between.
There's 2 things in the NBA. That's it.
I like his game, and I like what he can bring to Boston this season. I think they can really utilize that. If he really pans out, I think Danny Ainge did great and not trading none of his picks and sticking with his mindset of going with Jason.
He got his number one call in free agency, and he got one of the best talents in the draft.
That's and I'm telling you,
in the offseason.
And people keep complaining about this Avery Bradley move. I like the move because they needed a big. They needed somebody, whatever you want to say. Morris is going to get down there.
Avery he only had 1 more year left. He's going to get a big contract.
He was going to get paid. And on top of that, Gordon Hayward can run the 2. Why can't Gordon Hayward transition into a shooting guard? I mean, he would outbody any shooting guard. I mean, he's an underrated 2-way player. What you got to say, Marcus? What you got to say, Marcus? What you got to say? Don't let the hate overtake you.
I'm not hating. I'm just old-fashioned. And when you give away a player of that caliber, as far as what he means to your overall defensive talent, is something that just causes concern. And the only reason I say that, hear me out. The only reason I say it is because of this. You have that blip on the radar right now as far as opportunity to surpass and sneak into a finals right now. If you kept your team as currently constructed and you just added a piece or two like a Gordon Hayward, I think that the amount of time that it's going to take to find their identity defensively without having Bradley there to be a help defender in the backcourt, might cost them that opportunity to potentially slide
That's
past
what
Lamar.
Jaylen Brown got to
This,
see.
but hold on. But I'm just purely speaking about this year. Going
Okay.
forward, they weren't going to keep Avery Bradley. I'm
Uh-huh.
just talking about trying to strike while the iron is hot, like this year. Next year, that team is going to be different again
Mm-hmm.
And
because they're going to go through and try. My thing was, I was hoping that they would give a chance to and not don't put Hayward at the 2, put Jalen at the 2.
Yeah, Jalen.
He's the more athletic of the 2.
Exactly.
Put him at the 2. And he'll still give you good help defense. And Marcus Smart is a good underrated defender.
Yeah, defender.
So he's going to fill in some of those ways as Bradley. But I'm an old-fashioned Spursy guy, so I'm always big on chemistry and stuff like that. So I'm just looking at it from that standpoint. How long does it take for this to gel and coagulate and get into a set formula so they can get back to being the Boston that we've seen the last few years? And that's my only concern with it. It's nothing wrong with them making the move. It's smart for business. It's smart for finances. You're not going to give Avery Bradley $25 million a year next year to stay in Boston. It's not going to happen. But somebody's going to give him $25 million. It's just not going to be Boston. So, I mean, that's cool.
And the thing that's crazy about it is I feel like Boston, the move I wish Boston would have made before a lot of this stuff happened was I wish they traded for Brook Lopez, because I think Brook Lopez would be the type of big that they need in a system that can fit the role and let out.
He could have played next to Al. He could have played
exactly.
I can see that.
And the reason why I would say is because the thing they're missing from their offense is a good passer. So you have Brook Lopez, who's known as a better, big that can pass the ball.
Oh, he's one of the top 5 passing centers.
Exactly, and then
in basketball,
they struggle. They needed a big, and he's good in rebounding.
And I've never thought of Horford as a center anyway. I've always preferred him to be the 4, like a LaMarcus Aldridge type. I don't look at him as
played power forward in college too. Next to Noah. Noah played.
So I think that's a move that I wish that Danny Ainge would have done, or he would have taken one of his draft picks and gave it to the Lakers for him, because I think Brook Lopez is the kind of key that would have narrow the gap between them and Cleveland, because Cleveland, I can see him bodying Tristan Thompson, so I think that would have been a good move. But hey, that's if I was playing GM.
That's another body that's going to be a free agent, so he can always walk to Boston.
And honestly, another one of those moves that actually could come back, and it's going to be interesting because that's one of my difference makers that I'm looking at, one of these sleepers as far as the rookie is concerned. That kid in Miami, man, is going to be a difference maker for them. Adebayo out of Kentucky. That kid has been playing his ass off in summer league, buddy, and he is prototypical stretch 5 material in the NBA right now.
Yeah.
He's long, he's fast, he's a good rim protector. Doesn't have it all down on the offensive end, but he has that catch and dunk down quite well.
The White with a shot. If the White actually,
the White with better shot selection.
Yeah.
With better shot selection.
Yeah.
But him next to Whiteside,
that's perfect.
Is a great building block to start off with in Miami.
Yeah,
you put some good wings and some good offense around them, Miami will be a problem next season.
I mean, you got Dragic, who's a good, he can pass the ball real nice, train up.
Exactly, and you got Whiteside and with Adebayo, you don't have people that are going to be demanding the ball. They're not ball dominant people. They're the people that are like the Tyson Chandlers or DeAndre Jordans. They're going to crash the glass and they're going to get that second and third chance opportunity to get points. They're not going to be worried about running the plays through me or running the offense around me and stuff like that. They're just going to get in where they fit in.
That's why I was kind of nervous that I thought Gordon Hayward would have went there, because that would have really taken Miami.
Boy, you put Gordon Timberlake over there with that South Beach sexy and Bam and Hassan.
He knew he probably would have cheated on his wife. See, that's why he didn't choose that, because he knew that the temptation would have been at an all-time.
People laugh at me, man. Every time ever since he changed that hairstyle, I've been calling him Gordon Timberlake because he just got that Justin vibe to him. But he's smart. He's smart though. Because South Beach will have him divorced. Ask D Wade. South Beach will have you divorced.
Hey, Cubans will be over him.
What?
I'm telling you, that's why Chandler Parsons wants to get up out of Memphis, because he's trying.
Man, Chandler Parsons should just want to shut the hell up and keep cashing his checks. And thank the Lord that he done found 2 organizations dumb enough to pay him.
Suckers.
Hey, man, and he out here clowning, and he out there trying to clown people.
And to be on Twitter, trying to troll.
I heard to talk about Chris Paul. Like, get the hell out of here,
bruh. How about you just don't even come inside state lines no more? Because nobody wants you in the entire state of Texas. You ain't got no safety nowhere in the Lone Star State, homie.
Exactly. Don't step out the side them Memphis Lions, nigga.
Man, and you might be running up on your time being up in Memphis too.
Man,
Exactly, because they tired of your bullshit. You sitting on the sideline taking up cap space while they out here hustling, and they got your bum
You
ass
over
on the
here talking
sideline.
a good game. Well, shit. If your actual game was as good as your troll game on Twitter, you'd be an all star.
ooh, burn,
Shit, you might be first team all pro. I'm just
Get them,
saying.
get them.
burn. You know, man. Before we get to the NFC South, Wilson, I got to know how you feel about Harden getting this money. Huge extension, 4 years added with $228 million. How do you feel
You
about
want good news or you want bad news?
it? Tell it to us
Give
both.
us bad.
It's all about the choices. The bad news for me being pessimistic and take it with a grain of salt because, like I said, this is just me being pessimistic. Uh, it's kind of a mixed signal to me. You go through, you throw the cash at him and stuff like that. At the same time, we saw the way that he was in his last game for the Rockets under the circumstances in which he had his last game for the Rockets, and it's like, wow, that's what 228 million gets you. Got to kind of work on that from a leadership standpoint. If we're going to invest money and you're going to be on the face of the franchise, act like the face of the franchise. Uh, it's also going to be interesting to me to see how the adjustment gets made because we all talk good and yeah, we want to play with each other, this, that, and the other. But at the end of the day, the one thing that's confusing for me is this, and there's absolutely no shade with it. It's just me indulging my Dr. Spock logic.
Mhm.
Is I just witnessed James Harden have one of the greatest seasons that I've ever seen by a basketball player, and particularly at the point guard position, statistically. And you brought in a guy that's never had a season that's come close to what he did statistically, and basically gave him his job
Yeah, well,
because I don't care what anybody says. I really don't care about the man's pedigree or what past accomplishments and stuff like that. Off nature of understanding their head coach and the system that they run, I will never ever believe that Chris Paul could be more efficient or more prolific running the point in that system than James Harden just was.
Hmm.
And to me, that's a problem because now you're forcing the man to get up off of the experiment that you took a gamble with, that you hit a grand slam with, and it's like he messed up, so you just took him off. I don't understand the logic behind it. I get what they're trying to do with the star power, the attractiveness as a brand, because having James Harden and Chris Paul somewhere, if you're any kind of DeAndre Jordan type big, you're gonna go sprinting to Houston in a heartbeat. So you can be
Yeah.
an all-star by default. I
Yeah.
get that part of it. But when it comes down to it and you understand the conference and the division that you're in, you have to understand at the end of the day, for all that they did to get Chris Paul and for all that they did to lock up Harden and stuff like that, at the end of the day, in your heart of hearts, do you even think that they're still the best team in the state, let
yeah.
alone the conference?
Oh, okay. And let me defend it right now. So I had a while to think about this, and I thought about it long and hard. James Harden had a very efficient season as a point guard, experiencing passing the ball, opening the shots for everybody else. But guess what? James Harden, true nature is still the shooting guard position. He's a natural. I still want to score first before I pass. But getting that dynamic of passing the ball, now you have the ultimate floor general in Chris Paul who can distribute the ball. Just say you run a pick and roll with Capella and he messes it up. You have a screen. James Harden rolls on the right. You pass it to James Harden. He does some trickery to find somebody else on the 3-point line. You'll see the ball movement that they trying to achieve because I'm pretty sure Daryl Morey sat back and saw that the Warriors' success came from passing the ball, and nothing helps your offense better than adding another passer to your offense that still gives you the defense of Beverly, but then you have another person who can pass the ball. He can be ball dominant. I can see James Harden playing well off the ball if he was asked to do so, and I feel like he can adapt his game to tailor that. I think James Harden noticed from game tape that when he has the ball and he holds the ball, there's a struggle. But when James Harden is fluid in passing the ball and not holding it to himself and playing off ball, he looks better, in my opinion.
Yeah, and he had a lot of lazy turnovers, and
Exactly.
he had nobody to point to like, all right, man,
I
let's right the ship.
completely agree with everything that you guys just said. I completely co-sign to that 100%. But here is my difference and my counter to that. One of the big controversies that they had this season when they were coming down the stretch and we were watching all this great point guard play between Westbrook and Harden, when people got to splitting hairs and nitpicking, oh, well, Westbrook was manufacturing triple doubles and they were blocking out so he could grab easy rebounds and this, that, and the other. Regardless of whether you agree with that or not, it's your preference, whatever, that's your opinion. But the thing that stands out for me is this. When I think of Chris Paul, Russell Westbrook, James Harden, as it pertains to playing the position of point guard, two things come to mind for me immediately. Number one, James Harden is the most organic stat producer out of those three by a wide margin. There's nothing that's forced or there's nothing that seems to be calculated as far as I'm trying to get this rebound, I'm trying to get this assist to pad stats out of those three. Number two, and this is the biggest thing for me, is that I'm more willing to deal with a weapon that can be described as the most unselfish ball dominant shooter in the NBA, not named LeBron, than to deal with a stat chaser like Chris Paul or somebody that's more of a wild child like Russell Westbrook.
Mm.
People severely underrate James Harden at some of the best things when it comes to James Harden. James Harden to be such a stat guy, quote unquote, as far as the way he generates them, is one of the most unselfish players that I've ever seen on a basketball court. That
Mhm.
dude literally does not care at all about how the ball gets there. He just wants the ball to get there. And there's a lot
Exactly.
to be said for that. He's not worried about if he has this many assists or this many rebounds or this many turnovers. He just wants to know if we got this many wins. And that's a tremendous, tremendous quality to have. But unfortunately, we live in a day and age where he, unlike a lot of these great players, are kind of cursed by 24/7 media coverage and social media that'll sit and nitpick and downplay every single thing that he might do good just to be able to have a story to tell about what it is that he's doing bad.
And I agree totally with that, and that's what I love about James Harden. And I like how you highlighted that is he's an unwilling passer, not a
Bruh, for somebody
unselfish
that puts up
passer.
numbers
That's
the
what I'm
way
saying.
that he does, I've never seen somebody do it so unselfishly since, like LeBron or a Magic Johnson or something like that. That's why it was so amazing to me. And I was such a fan of watching him this season because it was an experiment to put him at point guard that far too many people thought that he was going to fail at, but they did not take into account the measure of the man's game and his character as far as the way that he plays basketball. He
Mhm.
plays basketball like a point guard. He just plays it like a score first point guard. He's
And
like Tony Parker on steroids.
yes, and the thing that I like about it is I have the mindset. I have the mindset like you. I did have the mindset of I didn't feel like it was going to work out, but then I just started thinking a little deeper, and I don't know if I was trying to get beside myself, and I started thinking, and if we were to get rid of Anderson and not have to give up Ariza or Eric Gordon, and we were to get Melo, if Melo came with the mindset of being unselfish like he was in the Olympics. I know everybody say Olympics, Melo, but if he were to play like that and he would play more, I give you the ball and you don't try to play ISO and you kind of do the spot up shooter because he was very efficient in that aspect when off catching off the ball. He was a very efficient. If he brings that to the Houston offense, I feel like they have the type of power, firepower that can compete with the Warriors. But the
I mean,
defensive side is what I'm
They
really
have no
still.
defense though, and
That's what I'm still.
that would be an expensive pickup because you're going to have to sacrifice even more of the rest of your team to get Melo. And
but that's
again, I
that's the
harp
biggest
on it
problem.
all the time.
They trying not to give up so much. I mean,
Yeah, and that's
the
the
less you
thing.
give up, the better.
And yeah, because I harp on it all the time. Chemistry is a powerful thing, especially when you go through and you have a breakout season the way that the Rockets did as a team.
Mhm.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
believe it,
Because you go
but that
through.
the biggest issue is that team had a cap on it. That team already reached
Oh,
as
no
much
doubt, no
success
doubt,
as it
no doubt.
could.
But
You
the
know,
thing
so
about it is, you go through and you look at that team and you say, okay, they capped out, they plateaued and stuff like that. But does that mean that you blow it up, or does that mean that you just tweak
I
it?
mean, at this point in the NBA, you cannot win with
Win.
Space Jam ball. And what I call
Exactly.
Space Jam ball is Michael Gordon out there dribbling against Monstars because the Monstars are as powerful as they ever will be at this point. So
Exactly.
you have to get other people around you. I see what you're saying with Chris Paul always looking out for his stats. Same thing you saying with Melo, Marcus, but this is why they got to make that sacrifice. And now you're talking about two 30-plus-year-olds on the tail end of their career, clearly. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
look how long it was ago. 2003. Chris Paul, LeBron James, same draft class. same high school class. You got Carmelo Anthony, Amari Stoudemire, same high school class. Amari Stoudemire has nowhere to be found. He's already out the league. He's broken down already. So to
He's
even
overseas.
be
He's overseas, actually. Don't hate on my boy like that. He's
Well,
still playing.
nobody in
He's
the
just
NBA
overseas.
wants him.
He's just overseas.
Hey, Stephon Marbury had a great career, but he
You
wasn't.
leave my
NBA
man
ready.
alone. You
He
leave my
wasn't
man
NBA
alone.
ready. Amari Stoudemire not NBA ready right now. He can't go out there and give me no minutes.
And you know what's funny? And you know what's funny? What DeMarcus says about that is the Rockets have the type of team, and don't laugh about this, don't scoff at this. They remind me of the 2011 squad. Just hear me out. And the only reason why I say this is because that Dallas squad had a bunch of
Karan
all-star-
Butler, Sean
all-star
Marion,
talent.
Berg, Tyson Chandler, Jason
they
Kidd,
had
Jason
all-star
Terry.
talent, and everybody was in their later years. They were more
Mhm.
mature, a little bit more wiser. They've been through the scuffle. Chris Paul been through the scuffle of not getting it and being criticized and being everything being inflated. And he's coming to a situation.
Carmelo, no playoffs in 4 years
Melo-
in the East. In the
Exactly.
East.
Melo's going to be coming with the mindset of having something to prove. And on top of that, D'Antoni had an interview the other night, and he was saying that if they were to get Melo, they would look to get veteran presence because those veterans know how to step it up in big moments. And if they were to say they add a couple more veterans if they were to get Melo, I think the Rockets have the type of team, and they could develop the type of team chemistry that could beat a Warriors or a Spurs or really compete with the Cavs because we know they're going to the finals. So I'm not going to sneeze at it. This is very optimistic, Marcus. And that's I'm gonna leave it like that because I can't doubt the Rockets anymore after last year.
Well, it's not even a thing of doubting them, man. Because right now, teams aren't even fully finished being constructed. We haven't got to the season yet, so it's all speculation. I mean, it's a long way to go.
Yeah.
But my thing, I'll leave you with this. I love the 2011 Mavs comparison. I think that there's a lot of validity in that comparison and in that statement and in that frame of mind when you have it as far as constructing a team, especially under the Rockets' philosophy of not really thinking too long term, but kind of strike while the iron is hot. It makes a lot of sense. I will counter it, however, by saying that in my personal opinion, if there is a team that's trying to strike now to beat the Monstars, you need to look like the 2004 Pistons and not the 2011 Mavs.
That's true.
That is true. You need defense, and then I think,
and that's the thing that's understated because it's almost the same kind of premise with that team, except the fact that when you really look at it, when we think about them at that moment in 2004, they actually had less star power than the 2011 Mavs.
Okay, now let me ask you a question.
Tayshaun was on like 2.
But it was a great team concept. It was a great all-in, everybody blue collar, down and dirty mentality. And they beat one of the greatest dynasties that we have seen in our generation because nobody thought they were beating Kobe and Shaq. I don't care who they were. Outside of Detroit, outside of the city of Detroit, nobody thought they were going to beat Kobe and Shaq.
Not at all.
Okay, and this is the thing I say to that. I criticize the Rockets defense, but think about this. Defense also is about matchups and who you're playing against. And now think about this. But think about this. You have Chris Paul, who's still a good defender. Let's go and say that's an upgrade. You have James Harden. He'll lag off on defense. But if you were to get Melo, that would be your 4. He would probably run at the 4. And his most production, and when he played with the Olympics team. But think about that. I would run him as the 4 because Ariza, I can't slide Ariza into the power 4. But I would rather want my Ariza.
But you know what? You'd be more viable in today's game using Ariza at a stretch 4 than you would Melo. We don't know the state of Melo's physical health because we haven't seen him go 100% yet. We don't know the toll that age has had on him because he's been stuck in that black hole, underachieving every season. We don't know what Melo's cap is right now. So if it's Olympic Melo, that's one thing. If it's Olympic Melo, well then you got versatility because he's still got a little jackrabbit in him. But if it's not there like that, anything other than him sitting there spotting up at that 3 is going to be a liability for them on both sides of the ball.
The reason why I see the optimistic side of that is because we've seen videos posted of Melo training more, getting more into shape. I don't know, maybe some underworkings that we're not seeing. I'm trying to see the positive in this. But if he runs as a 4 like he played in the Olympic times, I'm telling you, he can body.
Oh yeah, if he plays like he does in the Olympics, he's fine. It's no problem.
And then you got Ariza that's going to be there for defense. Capella's going to step it up. I feel like they will succeed on defense because their offense will be so potent. Who's their sixth man? Eric
Eric
Gordon's gonna
Gordon
be
or
there,
PJ
and then you got
Tucker should
PJ
still be
Tucker,
there.
and then you got Nene coming in off the bench. That's 3 defensive players. Well, I'm not gonna say Eric Gordon is like super on defense,
So
but PJ
you
Tucker is.
have faith in that being your 3 deep off the rotation as far as being able to
Yes,
fill
I mean,
in and
you
contending
still
with
yes.
the
gonna
San
have
Antonio's and
either
Golden State.
have Chris Paul or
You
James
still got
Harden in the
Chris
game
Paul.
too. So
He's still gonna be
they gotta
thrown
play
in there,
with
but
him.
then again, you still have Nene who's still gonna give you some good minutes.
If
Then you
they
have
play the mathematics game right with Mike D'Antoni and they follow the magic number, which is 20, and this is just my personal thing, my magic number for the Rockets is 20. If you go through and you can play Harden and Paul on the floor at the same time for 20 minutes or less, then you'll probably win because you create more of a dangerous matchup if you alternate them running the point at
Yeah,
separate points and stretches of the time for the other
I
28
see,
minutes.
and I do like that.
yeah.
That hard 20 minutes, 10 of it'll probably be in the second quarter. The other 10 will probably be in the fourth quarter. So you can put heat on teams and make them have to regroup and figure it out. But you go through and that generates that system of runs that the Warriors do every second quarter or every first quarter and every third quarter for the Warriors. They come out and they blitz teams. That's part of their MO. They'll come out and they'll blitz you and they'll see if you can weather the storm. If you
And the
can,
Rockets just
cool. They'll
weather storm.
regroup. If not, they'll murder you, jump out by 20 and just hold on. With the Rockets, it would be just the opposite. You come out and you give me that backcourt of Harden and Paul, and we're gonna test the waters and see how y'all react to it, see how y'all match up, see how y'all move around. If you go through and it looks like you're doing good, you switch on everything, you're keeping a hand in the face and stuff like that. Okay, well let's switch up the style. Let's pull either Harden or Paul out, insert Gordon, and then run the offense like this. See how it goes. Boom, boom, bam, 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 bam. Fatigue starts to play a factor, stuff like that. You get instant offense off the bench with either one of them. It makes them a more versatile and dangerous group
If
as it pertains to matchups than they would be if you just simply played Harden and Paul for 30 minutes and they got tired at the same time. You have to
but
be structured in a way that you put them out there to play them to make those kinds of differences as far as playing a San Antonio or playing a Golden State. Because I'm telling you right now, and there's no personal vendetta against it, there's no bias per se, even though we're rivals. If they come out and they decide to play Chris Paul and James Harden against San Antonio the entire game, they're going to lose every single time.
let me tell you right now, this the only game tape, and I'll end it with this. The game tape everybody needs to watch is in 2007 and 2008. Go look at the Phoenix Suns when they ran Steve Nash, Joe Johnson, and Amari Stoudemire, and look how their offense clicked. And James Harden is a better Joe Johnson, and then Chris Paul is a better Steve Nash,
But
and
you have no
Capella is
Stoudemire.
the
You have nothing that compares to
Capella.
Stoudemire.
Capella could give you the effort of Stoudemire, but he won't have the jumper.
Impossible at this point.
Off the
Impossible
pick
at
and
this
roll.
point.
Off the
Off
pick
the
and roll.
pick and
All you do is
off
win
the pick and roll. That's all you have to do, and that's what that's where Stoudemire got his buckets, and we cannot deny it. Yes, he got an
Okay,
outside
and
shot
then
later on,
and then you
but
go and you weigh them against a team like a San Antonio or a team like a Golden State that plays the pick and roll phenomenally, and Clint Capella will not match up. It'll work against the rest of the league, the rest of the Western Conference,
but
but when
this
it comes to the teams that they want to beat, which is those top 2 teams, that won't be
see,
enough to get them
but
past
this
them.
is the thing I'm saying about this, and this is where we open up to with the pick and roll. Guess what? They have something that Phoenix didn't have. You would have Melo on the wing and Ariz on the wing. You can't die. You can't lose at that. You can play the pick and roll as good as they.
You still got Capella
You still
driving.
Capella coming to the lane. That's what I'm saying. I'm
It's
really
gonna be
trying to
it's gonna
speak
be
the opposite.
interesting.
It's going to be so, it can either go one way or it can go your way. And I truly think, I hope it goes my way, but I can really see.
Oh, no, don't get me wrong. I don't have a dog in the fight in this. I don't have a particular way that I want it to go for them because I really don't feel that even if it works for them and they're clicking on all cylinders and they do everything to the maximum of their ability, that they can beat San Antonio in a 7-game series. So I'm not worried about it from that standpoint. I mean, I'm just looking to see how it all works in the grand scheme of things for them. I still don't think they have enough as a team on their entire roster, top to bottom, to beat San Antonio in 7 games.
Who's the San Antonio killer on their team?
On Houston's team?
Chris Paul.
Killing them win.
Does not Chris Paul, did he not single-handedly win that game
Chris
7
Paul
against y'all?
Paul hit a lucky shot in Game 7 when he played for the Clippers.
Whoa,
Whoa. Since you're talking about him as a Spurs killer, wait. Let me answer the question. Since you're talking about him as a Spurs killer, was he a Spurs killer in New Orleans when they was up 2 games in the playoffs? I'm sorry. Chris Paul in true Chris Paul fashion when he had his greatest alley-oop duo ever with Tyson Chandler and that young New Orleans team that actually could have made some noise. They decided that they wanted to choke it up coming down the stretch. Don't talk to me about somebody being a Spurs killer if they didn't actually kill him. You have the totality of his team that played a major part in him killing my team. He made a shot at the end of the game over
I,
Duncan that
I,
quote unquote killed my team, but he didn't single handedly beat the Spurs. He's
I'm
never
not going.
single handedly
I'm
beat the
not going to.
Spurs.
I'm going to say
James
this.
Harden is single
I'm going to
handedly
say
beat the
this.
Spurs.
I'm
Tracy
going to say this.
McGrady is single handedly beating the Spurs. Chris Paul, never.
I'm
Mm-mm.
going to say this. Chris Paul would always go unnoticed to me on what he does on the court. And on top of that, I feel like his team fails him not more than Chris Paul because of his attitude. But I think, hold
Oh,
on, but listen to this. I think he got to James Harden because I think it's going to be a give and take relationship because he's going to get the personality of James Harden where he's going to I guess he's going to lighten up some because Chris Paul seems like that type of dude, that
you
Kobe
hope.
attitude that needs to
You
lighten up.
hope.
I hope. And
Because
Chris,
that is his biggest problem. He wants to be the head coach on the court. He wants
exactly.
to tell everybody what to do. He doesn't
And
want to lead and be a point guard. He just wants to tell everybody what to do.
He's the
That's
James
going to
president.
be
Harden
an issue.
and
That's the
James Harden is that
president.
perfect dude to tell you that hey, you need to calm down. Because guess what? A star of his caliber can tell you to calm down. Because once you hear James Harden, who is a two-time runner-up MVP,
But will he
calm down.
listen? No,
You're
that's
gonna
the
listen. I hope
that's
he
one of those
listens. I hope
unknowns.
he
That's one of
listens.
those unknowns that we have, and that's
Hey,
why there's so many
look,
people that have
guys,
different opinions.
look. This is why it's even fun because what the NBA did compared to what me and Marcus was talking about a couple months ago, Wilson. I was saying the NBA is ruined, but now you bring in all these
Oh
teams.
no,
'Cause
controversy is always good for the sport.
what I told Marcus is it's always been like 5 teams that you can at least say can compete for a championship. And
Hmm.
last year I only felt like it was really 2. We'd say the Spurs, but then look what happened to the
Nah,
Spurs
it was two
outside.
teams.
It was
It was 2 teams.
and now going into this year, I feel like it's at least 5 teams that you can make a case for that can at least compete. May not beat the Warriors, but at least compete. And that's
The only thing that's going to beat the Warriors is
injuries. That's it.
infighting and injuries. That's it.
Hey,
Injuries.
can I
Either
break
they
this?
won't get along with each other or they'll get hurt. That's it.
This is the break the ice so we can go to the next topic. I'm watching Summer League. Mike Brown really got in some good shape. That I commend him in really losing weight and getting healthy.
Oh yeah,
Most definitely.
from his Cleveland days. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
no
you
doubt.
got to give him
Most
some credit because
definitely.
he was looking really out of shape. And I'm looking at now like, damn, like Mike Brown really
He
holds it.
made some good lifestyle changes. You recognize as you get older, you just can't, do the same thing all the time. You gotta,
Now he
do what it
does
takes
talk
to
to the
be here
cops.
longer.
He does
Look,
talk to the cops crazy for a
look,
black
Well,
man.
hey,
That's another different. That's a story
yeah,
for another day.
Mike
yeah.
Brown looked like he lost 6'9", 280 pounds, huh?
You know what I'm saying? Mike Brown was watching Tails and decided he wanted to be a part of that first episode. Yeah.
Caught
Okay.
that?
He caught that first episode of Tales.
Man, he caught that first episode of Tails like, I can flip this shit too. No.
Exactly.
What?
No,
No, let me see
son.
your ID, officer. No, bro.
Nigga.
No, bro.
This is
Slow down.
2016 Tales, nigga.
That was good talk.
You know what I'm saying? Just wait. No. I'm in the car with you, bro. I'm not trying to become a statistic. No. He didn't mean it, officer. He didn't mean it. Do you want to see my ID? I got it right here. I don't want no problems. I'm trying to get on to my wife.
All right, man. What I'm gonna do? I'm gonna split this episode up, so we're gonna jump right into the NFC South now, man.
It's about to be another argument.
I don't see why. I mean, unless it's something that you don't know that Marcus know. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure that we don't all have the same picks for this division. I'm pretty sure that we don't have the same picks for this division.
I mean, I'm gonna start from who won last year. This is not who I got winning the division, but I'm gonna start with the Falcons. They did finish at 11-5. Blew that terrible Super Bowl. I still kind of feel bad for them, but oh well. It's, I know you just gotta laugh a couple times.
You don't have to laugh because that was
Stadium
embarrassing.
pretty though. Stadium is live.
Oh, is it? You see the prices? Oh man,
Stadium is live. Food prices is
Don't they
great.
got a barbershop in there?
Free
Nothing over
refill. All that good stuff. Yeah. No, that's the basketball stadium. It's got the
Oh, that's
barbershop
a
stuff in it.
basketball team.
That's the
I'm
house.
confused.
They still ain't fixed them damn roads, but they got some cheap ass hot dogs. But I'm just gonna say
Now, before we break it down team by team, let me throw this out there just so we can have that bit of clarity, especially once we start digging into it, because I know that the opinions are wavering and stuff like that. The one thing about this division that I love/hate is the fact that it's so much potential in it, but it's so much inconsistency in it. This is a division that over the last 5 years has not had a single team in the division have back-to-back winning seasons. Not one of these teams have had back-to-back winning seasons over the last 5 seasons. And I don't think anybody's repeated as division champ in this division over like the last 5 or 6 years. So A lot of these teams that are usually terrible one year end up winning the division.
The Panthers did that terrible season. They was like 7-8-1. Then they went to
7-8-9.
Outside of that, that was the first time ever.
Yeah, but I got the shake up because I don't have Atlanta even being the top. I got them number 3 this year, honestly, in that division. Oh, look at that.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. I don't want to spoil it, but I think we all consensus on Tampa Bay.
I think we are.
So that's why I'm saying.
I actually have wavered on that last minute, and I'm actually looking for Cam to bounce back.
Oh man! All right.
Well, we'll get to Cam, but let's
we'll have fun with that. We'll have fun with that.
What happened to the Falcons, man? Me personally, I got them going 11-5 this year. I like the pickup that they got in the first round, McKinley. That was a great promo he had for the draft.
Yeah, that was really tried to hate. People tried to hate.
I hate the backlash he got, but
people love to hate. That's
haters gonna hate.
They will find a way to hate on somebody trying to do something. Like I hated on LeVar, now I had to give it up. He's very entertaining. I give up.
But I mean, it's just that thing. You catch somebody in the heat of the moment, and you expect them to censor themselves when they probably just experienced the greatest accomplishment that they've ever had in their life.
Exactly.
And it fulfilled a promise that you made to somebody that was near and dear to you on top of that. But I'm supposed to be prim and proper and politically correct. Y'all can all kiss my ass. Get that buzzer ready. Get this checkbook ready. I just got to sign a bonus. I'll give y'all something. Yeah, I'll put something on it right now, but I'll pay y'all the rest later. I'm good. But y'all not going to stop me from having this moment to let y'all know how I really feel. I can't be mad at him for that. I can't.
Before we break down the actual players from a fantasy perspective, what kind of records y'all had the Falcons going?
Man, I got Super Bowl hangover for the Falcons, man. I got them at 9-7.
I got them 9-7 also.
That schedule is a beast, man. That schedule is a beast.
And I got them going 9-7 also.
I'm curious to see what y'all. My losses are Green Bay, New England, Dallas, Seattle, and Tampa Bay. What y'all got?
I got them losing to Green Bay.
I got all those. I got Carolina on there too.
You got okay. I got them sweeping Carolina. That's probably the biggest difference.
I got them splitting with Carolina.
Okay, you got to split. So you got somebody else in the division beating them?
Yeah.
Outside of Tampa Bay?
I got
Tampa and Carolina beating them.
You don't got New
I think they're gonna sweep New Orleans this year.
That's what I say.
I'm opposite on that.
You don't think so? See, I'm not high. I mean, we'll get to New Orleans, but I don't think they did enough I think they lost.
I'm not high on New Orleans. I just know that New Orleans has a bad tendency of actually playing against Atlanta pretty well.
Yeah, they do terrible.
It's just one of those gut feelings that I have, and especially with the fact that you're enticing Drew Brees with actually having a running game. Exactly. I think that'll present problems to Atlanta.
See, and then I'm on the opposite end of that. I feel like it's going to be a Michael Thomas year. I feel like this is going to be a year for Drew Brees to bounce back with the running game. That he don't always have to be Mr. Reliable, because I feel like he's getting in time. I
don't think he's going to throw for $5,000, but I think he's going to be better as a quarterback this year, and I think his receivers are going to be better because of the fact that they're going to have to respect the running game. They can't sit back and throw 8 in the back anymore. They gotta man up and put people in the box.
And see, and that's why I say I got them losing to Green Bay, to the Patriots. I got them losing to the Cowboys, Seattle, the Bucks, and then the Saints, and then they'll win out. Okay. And that's my 6.
Oh, so you got them losing twice to the Saints?
No, I got them losing to the Bucks twice.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Okay, so that's where your 9-7 come from. And what you had 9-7 too, Wilson?
Yeah. I got pretty much the same. I got Green Bay, I got New England, I got at Carolina, I got Dallas, I got Seattle. Like that 3-game losing streak I can see right now. That at Carolina, that Dallas, and that at Seattle, I just see that as a 3-game losing streak at the worst time. And then I got that the at Tampa Bay going through there too. And then there's I'm pretty solid on the at Tampa Bay and at New Orleans being that 6th and 7th loss.
So with us talking about teams doing bad on back-to-back years as far as the NFC South, it sounds like you don't have them making the playoffs at all.
I honestly, for me, I had already called my shot earlier when we did other divisions, and I'd already told you guys I thought that the wild cards was going to come out of NFC North and the NFC East. So because I think that the Giants and the Vikings are both going to win 10+. So if the Atlanta's at 9-7, yeah, they're on the outside looking in easy. I only think one team is going to come out of the South as far as the playoffs go.
Okay.
All right, man. From a fantasy aspect, they got Matt Ryan going in the 5th round. I still feel like you can get some more value.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of how I get why he's going high this year, but
And it's just for standard leagues. And I mean, it's again, all of this stuff comes at a grain of salt because it just depends on what type of league you run in. If it's a standard league, that's about right for him. Around 5th, because of the simple fact that you figure that they're not going to deviate too much from the pass happy offense that he's had the last few seasons, and in particular with the way that he spreads around the ball. It's not a situation where in past years we've been kind of hesitant, like, oh, but if Julio ain't there, he's still not going to do it. This, that, and well, Julio was hurt at times this year, and he still got it around, got it around all his receivers and stuff like that. So I think that puts him in that solid between, if you're reaching because you're just thirsty like that, 3rd or 4th round, or if you just want to lay back in the cut, maybe as far as 6th or 7th round.
There's no reason.
Anywhere in that area is okay for me for Matt Ryan. Nothing in the first 2 rounds though. No.
I think he'll be decent, but I feel like he'll have a Cam type of number. Type of year where he'll be back down to reality where the interception is going to be there. I feel like the offense is going to run more through the running back. With Devontae Freeman and Tevin Coleman, with the seasons that they had, they're going to rely on the running back a little bit more. And I feel like that Julio's going to get his number and Matt Ryan's going to have a decent year, but I don't think he's going to have I'm not drafting you as a 5th rounder where I can get a decent wide receiver right there where I can just drop down and get somebody else is going to give me the same type of I think he'll give you the same type of value as a Phillip Rivers or something. And I'll get Phillip Rivers in a way later round or something like that.
11 or 12.
So I'm not too high on him, honestly, in my opinion. If I go for Matt Ryan as high, maybe 8th round, maybe that, but if not, I'm not going for him, honestly.
Now I want to know.
And now we're talking about a quarterback that almost threw for $5,000 and only had one 1,000-yard receiver. So you sure you want to value him quite that low?
Because Shanahan is leaving the offense. Leaving that offense, and then I just believe that he just had a flash in the pan season, just like how Cam did last year, where it just seemed like
where he went last year.
No wrong.
Was like an 8th or 9th round pick.
Exactly. I feel like
and now we say flash in the pan. His seasons haven't been too much out of the ordinary from what he did last year. His interceptions were way down, but his yardage is consistently in the $4,000 range.
But last year he only had like 20 touchdowns, so it's the touchdowns that he got this year.
Yeah, the touchdown spike. The touchdown spike is one of those things that came with it too. That was a spike. But it's not out of the ordinary to say that he can't throw for 30 touchdowns next season.
See, and I don't see
he can, but not at a 5th round price tag.
I see the running backs taking more of those good 10-yard in passes. I feel like they're gonna rely more on Freeman and stuff like that. And on top of that, I feel like Matt Ryan's gonna go back to interception. He's gonna start throwing those good old interceptions, in my opinion, because he's gonna see more.
I can see that, but I also take into effect the schedule that they have, and I look at the number of. But I look at the number of run defenses they play this year. They play quite a few teams that are pretty good at stopping the run. That's why I feel that sort of by default, there'll be more opportunities for Matt to continue to have those kinds of numbers because it might come out of necessity, not out of structure or game plan.
And I agree with that, but I still feel like I'd rather have a Michael Crabtree, maybe a Martavis Bryant, Brandon Marshall.
Most depth. You gotta have a good number 2. You got it. Yeah.
I feel I'm not getting him like that.
I like him, and I think he'll have a good season, but I think you can get way more value in the 5th round.
Exactly.
But his 1st round running back, are you guys finally sold on Devontae Freeman? Because I loved him at Florida State, but I never thought he would have been the guy, especially with Tevin Coleman was the initial starter a couple years ago.
And you're not a 1st rounder, and you're not gonna be a 1st rounder. He's not a 1st rounder from what I'm looking at.
At the moment, he's going
in my opinion
into the 1st round.
Is there such thing as a 1st round draft pick at running back that splits time?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Tevin Coleman,
is there any running back in football right now that you can say, even though I know he splits carries with another running back, I'm still going to take him in the 1st round anyway?
It's not many.
I can't think of any running back that I would take in the 1st round if I know that he's in a backfield where he's sharing carries.
Exactly.
Because I really don't look at Tennessee as a time split, but I feel like
Tennessee isn't a time split at this point. They could be, but they're not at this point. Yeah.
They'll only put in Henry if DeMarco Murray get hurt. So this is the only guy that actually splits carries in the top round.
And Tevin Coleman finally got his feet wet last year because he coming off
He
that
finally
injury.
learned how to run with his pads a little bit
Exactly,
lower.
and I'm
Running
telling
upright
you,
all the time got him killed like Eddie George.
But he
and
also had like 16 yards per catch. Like you can't keep that up. That's like historic. That's like top 3 all the time at running back.
Yeah, I mean, you go through and you'll have those little anomalies and stuff like that. But overall, as far as Freeman is concerned, man, I think that his ability to be a first round talent is dictated by how many running backs get drafted ahead of him.
Yeah,
exactly.
he's like
Now,
that.
if you
He's
picking
like
at
the
the tail
last
end of the
one.
first round
Yeah.
and like the 6 dudes in front of you all pick tailbacks, yeah, you might want to go ahead and take that plunge.
Would you rather have
But
Freeman or Jordan Howard?
I want Jordan Howard. That
oh, Jordan Howard ain't splitting no carries, so I'm,
at all.
I'm
He's
taking
getting
Jordan Harris.
everything, and he's
He
gonna get
only
fed that ball.
he only had 4 touchdowns though. That's the only thing that concerns me about Jordan Howard. I know for sure
And I
Devontae
understand
Freeman's
that as
gonna get
well. I
the
understand that
goal
as well.
line
He's got that
carries.
breakaway. He's got that breakaway talent, and he gets the goal line carries,
All the
which
Exactly.
goal
makes him
line
doubly
carries.
effective as a running back because he'll get
Yes.
you a long TD as well as getting you those short yardage
Because
carries.
he'll get you a 3 touchdown week to where you feel like, can you just split it up? Can you give me like
And
one per
Langford
week instead of just giving
is
me
not at his heels or
Langford
nothing
is
like
one
that.
speed, one function. I'm between the
Exactly.
tackles.
So
I'm
he's
I'm
good to
3 yards
go.
in a cloud of dust. Yeah,
He's good to
Jordan
go.
Howard has nothing to worry about.
So would you guys want Telvin Coleman on your team, knowing that
Yes.
he's only gonna split?
If I'm playing
PPR.
in a deeper league, and I need a running back 3 or a running back 4, or if I'm playing in a futures league, seeing as the Devontae Freeman is about to come up for free agency, yes, Tevin Coleman is very draftable because there's a high likely that he might be the feature back as soon as
Back.
next year.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And then I feel like he's gonna have another type of year where he's gonna be very valuable in PPR leagues because he's gonna do good in catching out the backfield like he's done. But I feel like he's gonna have a chance to start position for the simple fact is I like how he runs more, in my opinion.
To me, he reminds me of the way that they use Charles Sims in Tampa.
Yeah.
He has that
Oh,
potential to
nice.
give you that 500 rushing, 500 receiving type season.
Yeah.
And that
And
makes him valuable as like a RB2, RB3. Not
I'll
necessarily
take
the
him.
bell call, but it's still a guy that will get you touches, get you that occasional, maybe, 4 or 5 touchdowns through the season and get you some good yards. And again, we'll put up some decent numbers in a PPR league. Is he your
Six.
bell cow right now? No. But if you're playing in the keeper league 2 years from now, it might turn out to be a jackpot for you.
PPR league, Coleman or Abdullah?
Ooh, Coleman. I don't like Abdullah.
I don't like Stanford throwing to Abdullah.
That is true.
And it's no diss against Stafford, but it's just not the way that
Nah,
their
I got you.
offense is set up.
I
It's
got
just not the way that their offense is set up.
Okay.
If he's throwing to Abdullah, he's throwing to him out of desperation, and it's not really something that's going to be set or structured.
Negative yards.
Yeah.
He'll
The
be in
dump off that went horribly wrong might lead to a fumble for a touchdown, that kind of thing.
Now, with Matt Ryan spreading the ball out so much, do you still feel like Julio Jones is a prime target for a fantasy team, or you feel like you look elsewhere as far as the receiver position?
Julio Jones is Atlanta's version of what Sterling Sharp was to the Packers in the mid 90s. It didn't matter how much they spread the ball around. Sterling Sharp was still going to get his regardless. Julio Jones is still going to get his in that offense regardless because he's too big of a target. He's too consistent of a catch radius. He's too reliable of a third down blanket and cushion. There's no way that you get off of what got you there. And, I'm glad that Matt learned to diversify his passing and find other targets and stuff like that to keep defenses honest. But at the end of the day, that man ain't stupid.
And on
Happy
top of
wife,
that,
happy life, and that's his wife on the football field right now.
that's true. But the only thing with Julio Jones is if I'm drafting him in the first round, I'm looking to trade him in the later half because his injury history is just too up and
He
down
gets
for me.
banged up. He's got that Calvin Johnson
way
to him.
too much, and that's not a leap I'm trying to take in the first round, honestly, in my opinion. Now, if he's still there at like the beginning of the second round or at the end of the first round, maybe I'll go on the flyer on that. Me personally, he's more of a second rounder to me.
And I'm an old fogey. I've never been a big believer on taking wide receivers in the first round anyway.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Ooh,
I've never been
Antonio
strong.
Brown or Odell or
I have never been strong on taking wide receivers in the first round because when you get down to it, the same way we just discussed, all these running backs sharing carries and stuff like that. If I can get a workhorse running back over a workhorse wide receiver, I'm taking a workhorse running back all day long.
And I agree with that. But if I'm in the later half of the first round, I'm going for the wide receiver because I know that he's going to give me more production. I look at is this wide receiver going to give me more production than the running back that I'm going to draft in it.
If I'm in the later half of the first round with most people in standard leagues, I'm gonna just be a homer and take Aaron Rodgers.
Hey, that
You
having
know, I'm
the
not even
advantage.
surprised at that. I'm not even
Yeah,
surprised. I had to
Listen,
pause
you
on
got
that.
you
I'm not
got
even
you got to
surprised.
have the advantage at quarterback. So I see what you're saying. Aaron
yeah,
Rodgers
that
will go in the
you know,
second round a lot.
you grab that anomaly. If you're in a position
Hmm.
where your
The
personal war room
Gronkowski,
board, if they're
Rodgers,
all
those type. Yeah.
gone, if all those reliable options that you're looking at are gone, that'll be my first safety net to bail out on. If everybody that
I'm
I was
doing the
looking
time.
for on the top five of my war room board is gone before I get to that second to last pick in the first round, yeah, I'm gonna take Aaron Rodgers.
So how y'all
And
feeling about? Oh, go ahead. What you got?
oh, and I'm about to say, you say Aaron Rodgers, man. I'm high on Tom Brady this year. I feel like Tom Brady is gonna go for 50 this year. I feel like
Nah,
he's gonna try to go for 50.
their offense isn't going to support that. Bill Belichick isn't going to support that kind of system this year.
I
It
feel like
worked out good when they
it's
had
kind of
Randy
yeah,
Moss and
it's
stuff
kind of
like
like
that,
he
but they
been
don't
there,
run that
done
kind of
that. But
offense. Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
yeah.
Bill Belichick isn't
See,
trying to go back to that.
and I think they got the type of breakaway offense that
They
they'll just
do.
start putting up
And I
points.
feel you, they
I
do
can
Yeah, they
potentially, but
do.
the thing
But
about it is this: you have to
if you
look
don't
at it the
if
way
you
that
don't
they
call the plays, you don't
compare,
call the plays.
the way that they compare New England to San Antonio as far as their success extends to more than just the actual X's and O's of wins and losses. You might as well look for Belichick to pretend that he's Pop, and you're gonna start seeing that arm getting managed by Tom Brady the same way they managed in minutes for Tim
see,
Duncan because they
and,
don't want him to leave no time soon.
and you
He's not gonna sit and sling it 45, 50 times a game. It's not
see,
gonna happen.
and that's the thing about it is how good as Tom Brady is. I can see him throwing a averaging 4 touchdowns a game, and he's only thrown it what 28, maybe 30 times because he's that potent in that
We're gonna
precise.
have fun with that preview when we look at their schedule because I'm going to beg to differ.
Oh man, see, and I'm just so happy about their offense that I just feel like it's Brandon Cooks really changes a whole lot.
Yeah, from
And
a
Gronk,
spacing
And I
standpoint.
feel you, and I feel you.
and
But let's not forget that the Patriots are never truly successful the way that we're used to them being
see,
unless their defense is good.
and their defense looks great. I mean, greater on paper, but think about this: on their offense, they have a great tight end number 2 in Dwayne Allen. That changes
Oh
the
yeah,
whole dynamic for their whole entire offense. You have Edelman up the middle, then you got what's his name? White boy last year. I can't think of his name. To save my life from the Bills.
Amendola, or oh, you talking about Hogan?
Hogan.
Chris Hogan.
You have Hogan, and then you have Brandon Cooks over the top. Man, I'm Tom Brady. Book it.
Malcolm
45
Mitchell.
plus next
They still
year.
got still got a few. Still got a
wait,
few.
wait, 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 wait. Did you just say Tom Brady 45 and book it in the same sentence?
Yeah, you wanna we're gonna challenge that one.
So you mean to tell me in the first 4 games he's gonna throw 17 touchdowns?
The
Because I'm
first
just
game.
going off his stats last year. Last year he threw 28 touchdowns in 12 games. So if he's gonna get to 45, that means he's gonna throw 17 in that other 4 games, right?
I think that he's gonna throw 45 touchdowns this year.
Those is bold
I'm
words.
bold
How
words.
many times? How many times? How old are you? Just out of
27.
curiosity, 27. In your 27 years of living, how many times have you seen a quarterback throw 45 touchdowns?
Not many, but I'm telling you, I, I
Three.
have I have a feeling that Tom Brady's gonna have an outlier season. I feel like he's gonna change the dynamic of the quarterback position. I feel like he's gonna be precise on time, on money. He's gonna average at least 4 to 5 touchdowns, and you're gonna see the Patriots in a
Can
whole
I give
different
you
way.
one last chance to change your mind
I'm
after I
not gonna
tell
change
you
it
this?
all.
After I tell you this, can I give you one last chance to change your mind?
Go
Just
for it.
FYI, the AFC East plays against the AFC West and the NFC South this year. Are you sure that he's going to throw 45 touchdowns?
45. Book it.
All right.
Well, moving on to
I'm
Taylor
telling you, Aaron,
Gabriel.
Okay.
you gotta
It
be
sounds
bold
like famous
sometimes.
last words to me. Hey, that's as bold as it gets, buddy. That's like italic script, double ink, bold print right there,
I'm
homie.
telling you, when we start this fantasy show, we going bold on them. We're gonna do a going bold segment and watch. That's gonna be mine for the
All right.
opening.
How
I got
bold are
you.
you willing to go for Taylor Gabriel? Can you see him repeating some of those long
Nope.
touchdowns he had last year?
Nah.
Nah.
Not at all. It was all hype.
I think it was all
I'm
hype.
not saying that it's all hype. I'm just saying that in the ultimate of ultimates, when it comes to pro sports, it's easy to get over on it when ain't nobody got no film on you. They got film on you now.
And then I feel
You
like
separate the great from the flashes in the pan by if you can do it once they actually know what it is that you're gonna do.
And I feel like a lot of his production came because Sanu was out of the offense. I feel like Sanu's gonna come back a little bit more healthier.
Yeah, Sanu's gonna come back and get his
Exactly,
cut of
he's
the
gonna
pie.
get his touches.
Yeah.
They paid him for a reason, and he's gonna be a little bit more healthier. He's gonna be a little bit more involved in the offense. And then I like the tight ends that they have.
I like Hooper this year. I think Hooper gonna have
Hooper's gonna
for a tight end. I think he'll at least finish top.
He'll
15.
finish in the top 10. I think he'll finish in the top 10.
I can see top 10 if they take away some of the passing from Cole.
If Sanu is there and Gabriel is there and Jones is there, there is no way Hooper is gonna finish in the top 10 unless Matt Ryan has another MVP season. If he throws for 4,900 more yards and 38 touchdowns, then Hooper might be in the mix in top 10. I think he'll be top half. He'll be top 15.
You get 5
I think he'll get 6 touchdowns and maybe like 800 to 900 yards, and he'll finish like
maybe not. I was thinking more like 650, maybe 7.
Oh, dang.
If he get 800 yards, then Matt Ryan is throwing for 5. If he get 800 yards, that means Matt Ryan threw for $5,000.
Maybe I was a little too bold on that one.
yeah. I mean, we got to sit back and think. How many tight ends actually caught 800 yards worth of passes last year?
Exactly.
Yeah, it ain't too many. That's a high number for a tight end.
Yeah, it ain't that many. Well, let's move on to my favorite team in this division, the Bucks.
Yes, sir.
I'm predicting to go
Tampa.
12 and 4.
I got them 12-4.
The losses I have.
I got them one less at 11 and 5.
Let me tell you about the win that I have. I think they're gonna be the first team to beat New England this year. I think they're gonna beat them when they go to Tampa Bay. But the losses I have is Minnesota, Atlanta, Green Bay, and Carolina. Those are the 4 losses I got.
And I got the Giants, Green Bay, Carolina, and then the Saints.
Okay.
I have all of the 4 that you had, and then just add the Giants for my 5. I got them finishing 11 and 5.
11 and 5. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. I feel like we all good consensus on
that. But that can easily and I say this with a grain of salt because yes, we're all 3 of us, regardless of how we want to downplay it or not, we're all excited and we all think this team is pretty much a sleeper as far as the NFL goes this season. Mm-hmm. I easily think that a couple of bounces of the ball, this team could really legit be 13 and 3 and like steamrolling this division, like for real. Like I had to think long and hard, and I had to think like, what would the old Bucks do? Yeah, they'll lose this one. They'll lose this one because now I'm like. Wait, no, because Jameis could throw over the top on these boys. No, because that running game will work on these boys.
I think he learned in the off season of his mistakes, especially in the tail end of last season, about some kind of mental errors that he did in that whole force feeding Mike Evans when you have open men in the field. And I feel like Sean Jackson brings a dynamic to their game that they've been missing. And I think it's the running back position that I'm more have a question about. But if
Jameis Winston's success is going to ultimately, in classic quarterback fashion, be tied into how well their running game comes off. Because if their running game doesn't keep them defenses honest, he'll keep pressing and he'll keep forcing it, and them turnovers and them interceptions will keep going.
That's the one thing I always he'll make that big mistake. It is so painful to watch.
It's Tony Romo is.
It is, yes. I can definitely agree with that.
You know what? Honestly, to me, it's more Peyton Manning-ish than Tony Romo-ish.
So you think?
And here's why: because you look at the way that unlike Tony Romo, and I don't take anything away from Tony. I actually like Tony a lot, but the manner in which Jameis attempts to recover from turnovers and stuff like that reminds me of the same way that Peyton Manning does it. And in an Andrew Luck kind of way, where it's not that backbreaker is just ruining my whole psyche, and now I can't focus on playing the game. Let me get back in here and make up for it. He stays locked in. He stays focused. That's why it reminds me more of that than a Romo, because sometimes with Romo, you can tell the pressure of the situation, and especially everybody constantly being on him because he's the quarterback of American team, blah, blah, blah. It weighed on him after a while, and it would affect the way that he played.
Yeah, and then you can also throw like Andrew Luck in there or a Big Ben, because they tend to force feed the ball when they do, like you said, a crucial turnover. But I think Jameis Winston is going to show some type of growth and some type of elevation, and I think they're going to allow him to run a little bit more with the ball. And then
I hope not.
But he doesn't like to run. Jameis Winston does not like to scramble. He's a pocket quarterback. He's not a scrambler.
That's what a lot of people see the skin color and think.
Don't you play that race card? Don't you figure because he colored he can run? He's Byron Leftwich.
But that's what I'm saying. But what I'm trying to say, when I mean in running, I'm talking about like how
Oh, they'll design plays for him. They'll
That's what I'm
design
talking.
some bootlegs, some rollouts and stuff like that for him. More, I understand what you were saying.
I was talking about the rollouts because I was going to say they can run the 2 tight end set with Braid and what's his name?
OJ Howard. You better.
I'm telling you, and you can really, and it could really
run,
change.
OJ, run, OJ, run.
It's gonna be nice. Like I can see him rolling out, and then you got those 2 tight ends sliding over, and then look, we forgot about Deshaun Jackson up top. Oh look, Mike Evans got loose, and he just
and please don't forget my homeboy. Please don't forget my homeboy because he's going to play more than Deshaun Jackson when it's all said and done. Mark my word. Because Deshaun ain't gonna be able to stay healthy. Yes. Okay. Got the kid from Penn State is going to light it up. He's a little bit bigger and just as fast.
Now I can see that because Deshaun Jackson, you know what he struggles with injury, and you know how
he'll
be 100 and
he'll give you that ankle sprain around week 5, come back around week 9. You can take a watch to it.
And then get hurt in week 13. Come back in the playoffs.
10 catches for 150 yards.
Exactly. He'll be hurt from week 5 to week 9, but then week 10 when he come back, he 9 for 173 touches, and you like, yeah, I'm back on this Deshaun train. Wrong. He gonna re-twist that ankle on week 12 and be gone into the playoffs. You be like, shit.
Deshaun Jackson he's one of the type players that I just couldn't draft because he'll give me that, like you said.
He's my Ryan Matthews. Right when I want to believe in you, right when I want to love you, you just plunk out on me, and I'm like, you son of a bitch.
And that guy for me was always Frank Gore. Nothing against Frank Gore, but I always felt like that slope was coming. I just didn't want to. I didn't want to be that guy.
I'm tough on Frank, man.
Look at that Jameis draft position. This is the perfect spot.
Oh, that's a steal. 8th round. That's a steal.
8th round. That's
8 is about. But 8 is about right though. It's not even steal category. That's pretty much accurate.
See, but I'm saying,
like for me, if you could get Jameis in round like 12 or 13, that's a steal for Jameis. Okay, getting him in round 8 is cool.
See, and I say that, but I think he's gonna the value that he'll end the season with is gonna outweigh the 8th round pick, and that's why
he's gonna finish top 5 fantasy for you.
I think, man, I got him up there, man. I got him up there because I got him. I got what?
I actually think that he's gonna be like number 5 when it's all said and done at the end of the season.
Brady, Rodgers, Derek Carr thrown in there, and then I got maybe Big Ben. Nah, because I can't, because he gets road games. I don't know who that fourth.
Oh, actually, my fourth, it's easy for me. I have those 3 people's name. My 4th is gonna be Eli Manning.
I forgot about
super
Eli.
easy. I was about to say we just talked about this last week. How you gonna forget about Eli, bro?
I stuck it in there when you started talking. I was like, oh, Eli, I can't forget about Jameis. Yeah, I agree, man.
Eli about to have that bounce back for real.
I'm telling you, I hope he falls to like around 11 or 12. Shit,
oh man, you gonna get Eli to steal. I guarantee you. People gonna sleep on Eli.
Him and Philip gonna come late
because people talk. People gonna sleep on Eli. People are talking shit. They are talking shit about Eli. People forget Brandon Marshall is there, and I'm telling people once again, Brandon Marshall is there. Marshall is going to change.
They're good. They got Brandon Marshall, OBJ, Shepard in the slot, Ingram that they just drafted at the tight end spot, Donnell at the other tight end spot. Bro, they're going to be just...
a healthy Shane Vereen. I don't care what you say.
Yeah, they're going to be just fine.
Ain't no such thing.
Don't be low.
If I can get Shane Vereen to be a decoy for a solid 8 games to help Perkins get his lanes open, I'd feel good.
I'd put his ass on the IR and hope he give me something to say.
Man.
Because Shane Vereen ass just stay hurt, dude.
Shane
he get out of the ice tub after the first practice and tears ACL.
He get hurt in those games where you need him. Like Shane Vereen would have a consistent 6 catch, 66 yards, and maybe a touchdown. Say, you know what? I'm finally going to trust Shane Vereen, and he gets hurt.
He'll have
and then somebody sneeze in the practice room and it startles him, so he fall down and busts his ACL, and it's like
he gonna have a good practice, but then on a drive home he gonna tear his Achilles
I hit the brakes too fast. It was a cat that jumped out in the road. I blew my ACL and my Achilles. God damn it, Shane! Run over the cat, please. Damn that cat. Does that cat pay you? This is bullshit.
Let's talk about this cat, Doug Martin. Is Doug Martin the guy that's gonna be on your fantasy team? I gotta know. No, because me personally, I'm gonna take a chance. I'm gonna take a chance.
I'll take Jaquiz Rodgers.
Yeah, I want to.
I'm good.
Jaquiz look way better.
Right now, Doug is going in the 4th, but I feel like if I can scare a couple,
that's way too high.
That's way
too high. The 5th or the 6th, I feel like I can use.
That's way too high. I wouldn't take Doug Martin before the 8th or 9th round.
He only missing 3 games. He only missing 3 games, man.
But the production, man,
Out
just
the
looks
production I got off of
bad.
him last year, I'm not picking him before the 8th or 9th round. That's only if I have to.
Like he look like you. Okay, so
Doug Martin is one of those guys. He's the true boomer bust. I think they say he's either had less than 400 yards or more
Okay,
than
that
1,100 yards.
that 2.9 per carry last year
did you
says
watch?
bust to me. So I'm
Did
not
you
I'm
watch
not
the
I'm
game?
not risking that.
Did you watch the games last year?
I
Did
think
any of
he's
y'all
a
watch the games last year?
Oh yeah, we
Yeah.
watched a lot.
When you watch him run, he looks like he's about to burn off for a good 50-yard touchdown, but then it goes nowhere. He always gets tackled, and then he doesn't know how to break tackles. He has no
That burst that he had when he was fully
Man,
healthy isn't
gone.
there anymore, and that's the thing. That's the biggest key for him because that was his game. Low center of gravity, leverage, burst through the hole. When those things are gone for him, he's not big enough to make an impact.
the one thing I like about Doug Martin, he hasn't had any lower half body injuries. Everything's been upper. I feel like you can rebuild your top. You can get swole as long as your legs still intact. He ain't torn no ACL. He ain't had nothing crazy go down there.
And I feel that, but when you base your game off of having a low center of gravity and being able to shake off arm tackles and shoulder tackles, but your shoulders and arms ain't strong enough to hold up to that, then it's a problem.
All right, I also got to tell you this. I am the zero RB guy. I go for my receivers. I'm the one that in a lot of my leagues, I discovered Antonio Brown. I discovered when Emmanuel Sanders was going to have a good season. I knew Cordell Patterson was going to have a good season. Not all. I'm not.
I feel that.
So I always got to get my receivers out the way. So if I'm going receiver heavy in one of my drafts, I'll break it down to you guys like this. My keepers are going to be Amari Cooper, T.Y. Hilton, and Terrell Pryor. I'm thinking about getting Sammy Watkins as my fourth receiver, so I'm starting off with 4. If I can get Doug Martin as my lead guy and like a Mike Gillislee, I think I'm be fine.
See, and I'm not like, okay, Mike Ginsley.
Well, my thing is this: you can go through and asking you all personal opinion if that's the case. If Doug Martin is available or Latavius Murray is available, who you taking?
I'll take
you
Doug.
know what? And you know what's funny?
He's going to be the guy. He's the guy. Dalvin Cook is going to take over that spot. Me and you both know that.
But if you really pay attention to what they got going on in OTAs and going into camp, I'm telling you right now, Jaquiz Rodgers is about to be the guy. That's why I don't trust Martin. That's why I don't trust Martin.
And can I tell you this right now? With Latavius Murray, see, that's why I wish the Bucks dipped into the free agency and they grabbed a Latavius Murray or Eddie Lacy and tried to get him on the low ball.
They already paid Doug last year.
That's what I'm saying. But the thing about it is, I like Latavius Murray for he can give me some. He might get overtaken, but Latavius Murray is going to come out the gate and have at least 3 good games, and I can trade him off.
I think at least to week 5 before Latavius gets
and then I can trade him off. And then I can trade him off. Doug Martin, I don't feel like he's
for Latavius, it might be the opposite because he might start off the season hurt because they still haven't cleared him to practice.
Okay, well,
and that's why Cook is flying up fantasy football boards for a lot of people because there's a strong possibility that Murray won't be healthy enough to play week 1. Man, and if he don't show up week 1, he ain't gonna show up at all.
He ain't getting that job back, man.
No, sir. Congratulations, Latavius. You just got Don Mikowski'd because Brett Favre just slid into your spot and you ain't getting it back.
You ain't getting it back. You ain't getting it back at all. But I mean, I like where Jaquiz is going. I mean, for early season.
Round,
don't get me wrong. There's no like super good option for running backs at Tampa right now as far as fantasy is concerned. I mean, it's just like if you just got to have another back or you sold out on receivers and just need to find a back.
That's why I'm so confident about Doug Martin just being able to come back in and regaining that position. It's nobody that's really going to take his spot. Jaquiz Watts is not taking his spot. They got him.
Well, they may not take his spot, but they might get it by default because if that line don't hold up, it's just a matter of time before he go out anyway.
Yeah, Jaquiz, you can pepper him with the targets, and he was still having production. He still was giving you 100+ yards and maybe a touchdown thrown there. So I'll take that flyer. But man, Mike Evans, I'm high on Mike Evans.
Oh, we all should be high on Mike Evans.
Yeah, that's a fellow ball high golden tornado. So I will never not be high on Mike Evans. I'm biased as hell.
I feel like he can catch a fader off from all 3 of us and get a touchdown. I mean,
Mike's game, man. Mike's game is so bananas for somebody when you realize that he really didn't play football that much until like his senior year of high school. So he literally still has learning to do at the position, and you're still getting a tremendous amount of talent for what you've seen already for him not having that experience. It's just amazing to look at, man.
He's athletic,
man.
He's athletic.
He's a freak.
Like I tell people all the time, it's like he's one of those wide receivers that just leaps off the field. I mean, on the screen for you because of his talent and his skill, and he can just leap over anybody, and he catches these uncatchable balls. Because some of the balls he was catching last year with Jameis was really
those were zip code. Those were zip code balls. He just got it in the right zip code.
The Thursday night football game when he got hurt, he got that ball. When he took that hit on the sideline, he went out and got it. He could have been a hole and just like, you know what, I ain't gonna risk it all. He caught it, came down with it, then went to the sideline. Just to make sure he had that catch. So yeah, I'm definitely that's one of my favorite receivers this year. I just don't know if I'll be able to get him because I think he's one of those guys that like him and LaShawn McCoy, they was like the best second and third round picks you can find last year. And both of those guys have increased to the first round now. So
yeah.
There's gonna be a lot of draft capital for you to come into him, and you're gonna have to see a lot
in a lot of drafts though, he'll probably go second round.
I hope he goes second round.
People fall in love with the names that you see more when it comes to this, and that potentially because of the fact that people are going to be running back and wide receiver heavy. When you think about the top names of running back and the top names of wide receiver, those top face names, not production names, but face names, the OBJs, the Julio Jones, the Antonio Bryants, et cetera, it's a good possibility he could slide to that beginning to that middle of that second round.
Can I take this flyer right now? If Julio Jones and Mike Evans right there, I'm taking Mike Evans over Julio.
Oh yeah, I'm taking.
I
think I'll take Mike Evans over Freeman. I think.
Are we playing in a PPR league or?
Shoot, in a standard or PPR, because he'll get
in a PPR league. I'm going to give a slight edge to Julio.
See, the reason why I'm not going to give him because durability, because I can't trust
PPR. I may go AJ Green shit.
I feel you on the durability issue, but when you talk about that PPR, man, I mean healthy or unhealthy. Yeah. He gets his numbers. And Julio still gets his numbers.
But who else doesn't get his numbers? Jameis Winston is more dialed in than any other quarterback I see to one player. He will pepper Mike Evans with target. He'll get at least average 15 targets a game.
And that's why I think OJ Howard might have something to say about that because that's another big body.
Exactly.
First off, let me tell you like this. I was on word for saying OJ Howard is probably the best athlete in this draft because he can do it all. This is Greg Olsen on steroids. And if you can get a tight end that can come in willing blocker and exceptional catcher, if he's not in that championship game, either one of those championship games, Alabama should lose to Clemson twice, and they're not even in the game the second time. That's the type of athlete that OJ Howard is.
Okay, he'll get his targets, but Mike, I still feel like Mike Evans, he has that connection with Jameis. He has that longevity.
He does. Jameis love the tight ends. Remember Nico?
Okay, but my thing is this though. My thing is this. Does OJ even play more than Brake?
I think they'll play.
I think they'll play.
I think Brake plays more this first year. I think Brake still plays more. I think eventually OJ might get more touches.
Howard right now is a better run blocker than Cameron Brake. Right now.
And I feel that, but what they're thinking about is moving the ball.
Exactly.
They're gonna keep Cameron Brate out there to keep that option and keep them seams open.
If we go and play action, OJ Howard's most likely gonna be the tight end if they don't run a double tight end.
So it'll be like a. It'll be a scenario. It'll be like a scenario, just like Antonio Gates and what's his name, Latavius Green. Like you'll have Brate,
and that's the thing. I think it'll be a situation where when Brate isn't in there, or if Brate gets hurt, then OJ will be great this year. But I think that if Brate stays healthy, OJ's numbers won't be that high.
No, and I don't expect OJ to go out there and get you like 700 yards, 8 touchdowns. But I think he's gonna come in and interrupt Brate enough to where you don't want to play Brate and may tinker with Mike Evans' stats a little bit, maybe not a lot, but that's a big.
I think that Brake still gets 45 catches for about 500 yards, maybe 5 touchdowns.
Because he was good last year, man. He was
unexpectedly good. Unexpectedly good.
Shit, when I picked him up, I remember someone dropped a dime about Cameron Brate was when what's his name left.
Brate had 50 plus catches, 600 yards, 8 touchdowns. That's damn good for a tight end.
When Austin Seferius-Jenkins left, they said how Jameis loves the tight end. I took a flyer on Brate. Shit, it panned out beautifully, and I just feel like they have a connection. I have something to say about that whole QB, tight end.
You gotta have that security blanket. Hey.
And I just feel like, hey, man, I think Mike Evans is going to get his numbers. Cameron Brady's still going to get his numbers. What is it? You said that he's in the 10th round, they said, for Cameron Brady, or 13?
OJ Howard is 10th, Cameron is 13. So OJ
Cameron's a steal. That's all day.
13,
That's all day, homie. That's all day. I'm winning my league with that. That's all day.
It don't take much. He got to get in the end zone though, because Jameis will give you a 0 touchdown game, and that'll piss you off. Because that means everybody.
But bruh, I'm
he won't give
saying
you that
Cameron
either.
Brate scored 8 touchdowns last year.
He was
He
beautiful
scored
last year.
8 touchdowns last year.
And he missed a few touchdowns because Jameis Winston didn't throw to him when he was wide open. Because I watched a whole lot of them Bucks games, so I'm high on Brate.
You know, are we in consensus to say let's just stay away from Deshaun Jackson? Let's just
I would take a flyer on Deshaun Jackson if I was in a PPR league and I was.
If I already got 3 wide receiver ones, I'll take a flyer on Deshaun Jackson.
Yeah, if I have some surefire things.
If I got like in one of my leagues right now, I have Mike Evans, Julio Jones, and Dez Bryant. If I got them 3, I'll take Deshaun Jackson.
How the hell did you get that?
Because the thing for me is this, and you know what? I've been thinking real hard. I might have to get y'all baptized. Because I do tons of leagues. I actually came down and I only did 7 last year. The year before that I did 14.
That's it? Oh damn.
But going through, see, all my leagues are keeper leagues and all my leagues are IDP leagues.
Ooh, nice. So you
and I mean you literally start 22 players every week.
Mm-hmm.
You start 11 on offense and 11 on defense every week. So when you go through, and the way that our point system is structured and stuff like that, literally, if your offense is lagging, your linebackers or your DBs can have a good enough game to carry you on and win your game for you, because they can score just as much as quarterbacks and running backs and receivers. True. When you take into consideration all of that, when it comes down to drafting and stuff like that, honestly, if you know that you have a choice between picking Julio Jones or a JJ Watt, knowing that they can score equally depending on performance, is it really that big of a difference between the two?
Nah,
not that much.
And that changes your draft philosophy. So the availability for players changes. So you can have a bomb wide receiver core. Now I got to go through, and much like my Packers, I got to work on the secondary for that team because my secondary sucks because I went all in for wide receivers. But it's just the nature of the beast, and it's one of those things that makes it a little bit more realistic for me. But
I got you. Yeah.
That's how you can get them good groupings like that.
And I'm glad you said that, because I thought you were just playing in a good old standard or PPR.
No. Anybody in a standard league that's got it like that, you blackmailing somebody or something.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to say. That's some robbery, man.
I stopped playing in standard leagues about 8 years ago.
Man, okay.
I mean, I still like the standard just for the piss.
Standards are cool, and standards are cool for me if it's somebody that invited me to run like a money league or something like that. It's definitely
like a strategy to win.
Exactly.
It's a layout to actually defeat people in standard league. So I get what you're saying. It's no.
Yeah, like literally, if you have key pieces at certain positions, it's almost impossible for you to lose in a standard league. Whereas in an IDP league, it's more wide open and more unpredictable because you can go through and fall back, and it's more about what you know about football, because the one thing that makes it fun is when you play in IDP leagues, you follow almost the opposite philosophy of what you do when it comes as far as drafting defense to offense. On defense, I need the middle linebacker for the shittiest defenses in football, because that son of a bitch is going to get the most tackles. Yeah, exactly. Sure. They're going to clean up. I want dudes that play on horrible defenses. Now, there'll be exceptions to that. You know what I'm saying? There'll be, a J.J. Watt here or a Pat Peterson or somebody like that there that, you just going to pick because you know what you're getting. Richard Sherman, somebody like that. But yeah, like the middle linebacker for the Browns, DeQuell Jackson. DeQuell Jackson has been a top 5 IDP fantasy football player for like 7 years.
Yeah, I believe you. He gets tackles.
Yeah, and it kind of changes the philosophy. And at the end of the day, like when I first started doing the leagues with my family and friends and stuff like that, especially with my homeboys that had wives that didn't watch football and stuff like that, man, get them in, have them play the teams with you and stuff like that. At the end of the day, it's just a really good excuse to watch more football.
Hey, nothing wrong with that.
What about them?
You're not gonna watch your team only. You watching every single game because you got a tight end to play for this team. You got a safety to play for this team. You got a quarterback in this. So it's not just I'm just gonna watch the Packers now. Well, bullshit. Because I got this dude from the Texans that needs to score at least 20 points, or I'm about to lose this week. And I got this dude for the Cowboys that needs to score. You know what I'm saying? So it just becomes more of a thing of you just looking at football in general, not just your own team. That's one of the things that I really love about fantasy football.
And that's why I'm high on watching all the Bucks games for Mike Evans and watching all the Saints games for my boy Michael Thomas.
Man, I got the Saints sitting at 9-7. You have a full-on bromance with Michael Thomas. That is your dude.
Hey, and that's why you say
you are betting heavy on him.
I sure am. And you said you got
But
the
I think
Saints
it's a
at
good
9.
bet, though. I think it's a good bet.
See, I got the Saints 10-6. DeMarcus got them 9-7. What you got them, Marcus?
I got them 8-8.
Okay.
My
I think it's
losses
more. I
is
think it's a little bit more rebuilding on the defensive end that causes them to be 8-8 because I actually think they're going to surprise people on offense.
I got them losing a lot of division games, and that I think that could go either way. Cause I got a loss at
Yeah.
New England, Carolina, Green Bay, Tampa Bay, Atlanta again, and Tampa Bay again. So I think they could
Yeah.
swing one of those upsets and flip all the records around in NFC South. But I'm just not sold on their defense as usual.
And
Yeah, that's the biggest problem. Their defense makes them completely unpredictable.
I'm not high on their defense, but I like what I saw from their defense the tail end of last year. And then, they did make a little bit of a splash in free agency, but I just not high on the Panthers. And that's the flip flop right there, because that's the difference right there. I'm not high on the Panthers this year because yes, you added a few pieces, but I just I'm not a fan of Cam. I feel like Cam does not make anybody in his team.
We're not friends right now. For the next 35 seconds.
Oh, okay.
For the next 35 seconds, we're not friends no more.
Okay, well, we don't have to speak on Cam.
No. I'm the only reason why I'm messing with you about that is this. One of the reasons why I'm so intrigued about Carolina and I actually have them as being my surprise pick to win the division is because of the simple fact that for the first time, literally in his football career, this will be the first time that I actually see him play with elite skill position talent.
Exactly. And that's a great thing.
But I think that'll actually cause a little bit of a maturation process with him, and it kind of takes that mentality of him having. But I think it'll be one of those things where now going through that failure with the Super Bowl, running through and experiencing that higher highs, understanding that you don't have to pull that chest open all the time and be Superman. Let other people around you make plays is why I'm encouraged about their season, because I think that it's going to click with him that I don't have to do everything in order to be Superman or in order to lead this team.
Okay, and it's funny you say that, and I'm on the complete opposite side of that for the simple
most people are.
The only reason why I'm on the opposite is because I feel like McCaffrey is the type of talent that he's going to get a lot of the attention, a lot of the spotlight, a lot of the accolades, a lot of the personality that
like Reggie Bush rookie season.
Yes,
the team was okay, but
the team is really going to push him, and Cam is not going to be too kind on not having the spotlight on Cam. And I feel like Cam needs another season of a downward spiral for him to wake up, in my opinion, because he's going to struggle this year because, in my opinion, McCaffrey is the changing piece that he's another, like you said, another elite skill position, but that's going to steal a lot of the spotlight away from Cam. And we know how Cam loves
the offense feel like it's going to be more catered around Christian than Cam.
Exactly. And you know how
the thing about it is this, and that's the part that makes it funny is I know the general consensus, a lot of people feel that it's going to shift towards McCaffrey and stuff like that. And to a certain extent, to a certain extent, I can understand that. But the other part about it is the biggest conundrum in Carolina is people are still trying to figure out what position McCaffrey is actually going to play because they're not fully sold on him being a full-time running back. And you go through and you look at the totality of the parts and stuff like that too. Everybody is so busy looking at McCaffrey. Curtis Samuel is going to have the most offensive impact on that team next year.
I still say
he's going to be the biggest. He's going to be, but Curtis Samuel is going to be the biggest difference on that offense because of that versatility and because of that explosiveness. Mm-hmm. Because he can play multiple positions. Because just like McCaffrey, he can play running back, he can play wide receiver. More than likely, they'll throw him in the slot. They'll do a lot of the things with him that they wanted to do with Ted Ginn, but couldn't be able to. But he's a more reliable receiving threat than Ted Ginn too. The biggest thing for them when it comes to Carolina, and I look at it being an easier bounce back for them, is the fact that it's a lot easier to bounce back if you have a defense to fall back on than it is if you're just falling back on your offense a la New Orleans. That's why New Orleans the last 3 years in a row have only won 7 games apiece every year. Yeah, when you have an elite offense, that's good in today's NFL to probably get you about 7 wins a year. Defense is going to have to carry you over. Defense is going to have to carry you over to get them extra 4 or 5 wins to make you a playoff team.
And I really do believe in what you said, but the only reason why, like I said, is on the up and up. I just feel like with Jonathan Stewart, he gets hurt a lot.
Oh yeah.
When he gets hurt a lot, I feel like he's going to get hurt at the opportune time.
But don't forget about Cam's teammate too, because I like that kid Payne at tailback too. That kid out of Auburn. I think he's going to get a lot of touches too. Yeah,
he's good. And I seen what the only thing is I seen what McCaffrey did in Stanford, and I feel like the NFL needs. Not gonna say they need. They kind of. It would be a great thing for a white, quote unquote white person.
You played the race card twice in this damn broadcast. I cannot believe them. On both sides. You see how he did it both sides? So he was just equal opportunity racist.
He was James the scrambler.
Yeah. He was just equal opportunity racist. Because I don't discriminate. I don't discriminate, guys.
I try not to discriminate, but I just feel like it's a good white person. I mean, I see what you're saying, white running back is like good.
It's been missing since Mike Allstott. I feel you. I'm not tripping. I understand it.
And I feel like McCaffrey is in the offense. And
Toby Gerhardt tried.
Just hear me out on this. I feel like the skill set that he has is beneficial to the Panthers because they need somebody who can catch punt returns since now Ted Ginn is gone, or then you need somebody who can fill in for a good wide receiver or something because you don't have the good plethora of weapons. You have good weapons, but you know he can add a dynamic.
Well, if Kelvin Benjamin keeps eating, they're not gonna have too many weapons.
First off, Queen Latifah is gonna get
bruh. Queen Latifah look at him like, damn, he fat. No, because Queen Latifah looking at him like, damn, he out of hand with this shit.
Yeah, he got a line. He making me look bad.
Okay, I ain't never looked like that, boo boo.
I'm just high on my boy McCaffrey, man. I'm high on what he can bring, and I'm high on what the NFL would probably promote. Because just say if he comes out and he has those, I want to say those outlier games where he's doing impressive things like he did with Stanford. You know the NFL is key on pushing that shit. So if he has like Odell kind of flash type of game, like McCaffrey breaks like fucking 5 tackles and he goes.
They're gonna flex all those Panthers.
But you know what? Honestly, low key, keeping it 100. If it was a perfect world and a perfect situation for Carolina and what they wanted to accomplish or get out of McCaffrey on offense, look for him to play a role kind of similar to the way David Johnson.
Thank you. Yeah. And I was just about to say that he's a type of difference maker like David Johnson is. And the thing about it is, I feel like the spurts games that David Johnson had were not designed, and that's the kind of thing McCaffrey can excel at. And
exactly.
If you were to look, if you were white and you did what David Johnson is, shit, you were about to be the new face of the NFL.
The way that you rave about Michael Thomas is the way that when he was coming out in the draft, and my homeboys messed with me religiously about that. I was batshit ape crazy about David Johnson coming out of college. I would tell anybody that listened, I was like, dude, I'm telling you, that dude is super duper steal. Because nobody knew anything about Northern Iowa except that Kurt Warner went there. That's it. That's the only reason why.
Exactly.
That's the only reason why.
But he would come in the game and he would have one touch and he'll just take it for 50-yard and touchdown.
Yeah, he's like, damn, kick returns, take him to the house.
Exactly. And
I mean, people still don't understand the magnitude of the offensive production that he did last year. People still play it like it's funny when I say he's a top 5 running back, and they're like, well, what are you talking about? David Johnson ain't doing that. He played for the Cardinals. I said, I'm going to need you to go back and actually look at his numbers. And they're like, oh, damn, he got that. He got that.
And people don't, and I know we're going on off topic for a little bit, but David Johnson is really unseen. He's better. In my opinion, he's the best running back in the NFL. And I say that for last year. And the reason why I say that is because everyone says Le'Veon Bell. Yes, he's the quote-unquote best. But guess what? No, I love Le'Veon Bell. But guess what, y'all?
That's my guy.
Listen, this is the thing. I love the way Le'Veon Bell runs. Yes, it is a great thing. But you also have to say something for having Big Ben on your team and Antonio Brown. With David Johnson, he had a broken down whatever his name is, it's Carson Palmer. You had Larry Fitzgerald who went goodbye. You had the Michael Floyd situation going on. You had John Brown who couldn't stay healthy. You had J.J. Nixon coming out and being your de facto number 1. And David Johnson and all that madness still had the most amazing season that no one really
1,200 yards rushing, 16 touchdowns. He caught 80 passes for an 11 yards a catch average, and scored 4 more touchdowns. Dude scored 20 TDs and had over 2 grams of total offense.
And he would have broke the record for the most consecutive 100 scrimmage yards
Yeah,
games if he didn't
but
get
he
hurt in
got
that
hurt.
last game.
He got hurt in
And
the last game.
on top of that, if you really want to see how good David Johnson is, look how he fucking embarrassed the Seattle defense whatever week that was. Go
Shit,
watch
it
the
wasn't too
game
many
tape
defenses that
and
he
you can
didn't embarrass last season,
I'm
rushing and
telling you,
receiving. I
man.
mean, dude put up numbers consistently. It wasn't a thing where he had a 70-yard game, 70-yard game, 70-yard game, and then he had 300 yards total offense. No, he was consistently giving them dudes like 100
Exactly.
yards total offense, like every single
And
game.
2 to 3 touchdowns to
Yeah,
take it to the bank. You knew he was getting by 2 touchdowns. But Le'Veon Bell, yes, is
That's
the
my
most
guy. That's my guy.
okay, this is how I put
Le'Veon
it.
is an awesome talent, man. He's a great back. But if I'm going to go through and successfully say I'm going to build my team from scratch and I need to pick a running back to do it right now in today's NFL, I'm taking David
Can I
Johnson, who's this generation's Marshall Faulk,
can
over
I make this
Le'Veon Bell.
can I make this a comparison? And I know this may be far fetched. You'll see the comparison. David Johnson is the LeBron James, and then Le'Veon Bell is the Kevin Durant.
I
In
can
my
get with
opinion,
that. I can get with that. Maybe a Steph Curry. I can get with that. I
you
can
can
get with
because you
that.
can say the Antonio Brown. Look at the star power
I
there.
can get with that.
Martavius Bryant. You have the
Yeah,
Big
I can
Ben.
get
You
with
have
that.
the
And I hear
Antonio
you,
Brown.
but
David Johnson. What do you
when I
have?
seen Le'Veon Bell take Brian Cushing's soul, he sold me on Monday night. Y'all
But
know the game I'm talking
it's
about.
Brian
Brian
Cushing.
Cushing.
But he was
It's
still
Brian
Brian Cushing at
Cushing.
that time.
But I agree.
It
But
wasn't
I
until
agree.
after
I
that move
agree.
that he
I
just
agree.
took his soul.
He has the talent that is the more flashy, the more
The
standoutish.
patience. It's
But
that.
I look at the
When I
totality
was watching David
screen.
Johnson this past season taking 5-yard screen
Shit.
passes and taking them for 70-yard
No, don't get me wrong.
touchdowns,
Hey,
You saw it
uh,
against the Patriots.
the
Did you
double
see
cut. I
I
loved it.
saw
The
what he
double
did
cut,
against
but
Seattle. I mean,
the
I'm
Patriots
just saying, there's a difference between Brian Cushing and the Legion of Boom. I'm
and
just saying.
against the Patriots? He
that's my guy,
ducked
man.
and broke 5 people ankle. Very Marshawn like. He didn't run for a touchdown, but he damn near got there. And then against the Eagles, oh, he ducked up under there and took that hoe to the house.
Because
And don't get me wrong,
Le'Veon
fam.
Bell
I
was
can't
great at
speak about
Michigan State.
Le'Veon Bell. I can't speak against him. The only reason that I'm able to get away with it right now is because my wife is at work because she's a huge Steelers fan, and I'll probably be
Where
sleeping
your
on the
wife
couch
at?
if she heard me.
Where is your wife? 'Cause
No,
I need
no,
her.
no, homie.
She has to go do her whatever she's
No,
doing.
homie.
No,
She's working
no,
at
no.
Texas Children out in the woodlands, helping to keep them
No,
kitties
man.
healthy and safe.
I need her right here defending.
No, nope, mm-mm. I'm
Man,
damn sure gonna make sure she's not there when I do this damn AFC North podcast.
oh man, but let's just touch on
Her
the.
Steelers winning the division.
Let's touch on the Saints real quick. I like that debate about the best running back, and when we do our top 20, I think we're gonna
Oh,
have.
most definitely, we're gonna burn it down
Yeah,
on that one.
yeah,
Top
we're
20
gonna-
fantasy players? Oh yes,
We're gonna burn
because
down the
Bell
top
is
20.
not very high on my list.
Ooh, the sleep.
Oh wow, okay.
But man, they got Drew Brees going in the 4th round right now. Is yeah, they
Accurate.
on this guy.
Accurate,
You like it?
I'll
accurate.
take it. I'll
Are
take
you,
it. 'Cause
are,
Drew
but
Brees
are
is
you
gonna
are you
give
willing
5
to actually draft Drew Brees at the 4th spot though?
I'm gonna draft
no.
Drew Brees at the 4th spot because of the fact that with the way that they're retooling that offense, the way that they got that three-headed monster running back right now, it's going to take away from his turnovers without taking away from his
his
touchdowns,
touchdowns.
and that makes him viable.
Would you
And
He
rather
might
have?
throw. He might not throw for $5,000 this year. He might only throw for 4,500 this year.
Now,
But
this
he'll
two-
still have
this two-
36 touchdowns.
Maybe.
There's two positions
36,
that,
well,
that
yeah.
you usually don't draft too high, but would you rather have Drew Brees or Travis Kelce?
Drew
Drew
Brees.
Brees.
You still rather over a
I
potential number one
I
tight
like Travis Kelce, but guess what?
I don't trust the person throwing to
Look at
him.
Marcus. Marcus said that last time. He said the person throwing to him, and on top of that, you have no number one threat now. You can say
There's
Tyreek
nobody to take the
is,
heat off.
but
Yeah.
he's gonna get all that number one attention, and I don't know that he's gonna
I
outshine
mean,
that.
like
I think
Jeremy Macklin with his broke
that's
down.
true.
ass
He
doing
was a
too.
bum, and that's the thing. He
He's
was a
full
bum.
bum.
He was on the side of the street bumming. He was laid out with the.
And at the end of the day, Drew Brees don't have
to.
to play against Oakland, Denver, and the Chargers twice
I
a
got you.
season.
I got you. I'm just
So,
throwing it out
I
there.
mean-
Just throwing it out there.
But no. It's a good thing to throw out, especially
I
for
would
standard
take-
leagues.
I would take.
Because there's a
Drew
lot of people that
Brees.
would take Kelsey.
I would take Drew Brees if I got a solid number one wide receiver and a solid number one running back, and then I backdoored and had a solid number two, maybe a number two running back. Then I'll take Drew Brees because I feel like the wide receiver
That's the
position is
exact
deep this
pattern
year.
right there. If
It's very
I
deep.
started my first 3 rounds, running back, wide receiver, running back, then yeah, Drew Brees is on my hit
Drew
list in
Brees
the
is
4th
on my
round.
team
He's
because
on my hit list in the 4th round. No question.
and on top of that, and it's another little nugget for everybody out there. The wide receiver position being so deep this year, you can get, and I feel like you can get a lot of value at the tight end position also this year. That you can get a late flyer that can give you production that can carry your team, and it's not going to be like a 0 or maybe a 3 on your, at that spot. So that's why I'm kind of high on some quarterbacks this year.
Now, are you guys staying completely away from this running back situation? I think they'll be good at actually
Mark
playing.
Ingram. I'm high on Mark Ingram. I'm
super high on the rookie.
Alvin Kamara.
I'm super high on Alvin Kamara.
In a PPR, I think he's gonna have a Darren Sproles type role.
Yes, Lord.
He gonna have like a Darren Sproles or what's that other dude that got hurt last year today? I can't remember his name. But besides the fact, I think
he's going to be their third down back. He's going to be their third down back.
I can see that.
I see Adrian Peterson being okay, but I don't think Adrian
Peterson is going to finish top 10 in touchdowns because he's going to be their red zone guy.
See, and I'm on the flip of that because I think they're going to, I don't know. This is a leap. Don't crucify me. I think they're going to monitor Adrian Peterson and run with. But I'm just going to say, listen, I think they're going to give him at least like maybe 10 carries. But what the thing is, I think the Saints are trying to shoot for the playoffs. They feel like they can make the playoffs. And if they're in contention to make the playoffs, I think that's what they want Adrian Peterson for, is for playoff time. But I think you're going to see a healthy dosage of Mark Ingram this year, in my opinion.
Adrian Peterson more than likely is going to get more carries than any other running back. The first 8 weeks of that season, look at their schedule. For the first 8 weeks of that season, Adrian Peterson off grudges alone is going to get more carries than any other running back in New Orleans. They start off at Minnesota. They play Minnesota. They play Green Bay. They play against the division he just left.
6, 7, and 8. You better start Adrian Peterson,
bruh. Well, not week 8. Not week 8. Not week 8.
I'm not starting him against the Patriots either.
Not week 8. Every year, the last 3 years that he's played at Green Bay, he's gotten hurt. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that.
Okay, well, you might.
When we played them last year, and we actually got beat during that game. When we beat them, we put him out of the game.
But at least he's not scared to go to Lambeau.
No. He's not. Oh, he's not.
So
he'll go there. He may not.
But that's my thing, though. And you need more of an established bulldog when you're talking about starting off at Minnesota, New England, at Carolina, at Miami, Detroit, at Green Bay. You know what I'm saying? Then finish in Chicago, Tampa.
I definitely agree.
I mean, you're going to need that dog in them a little bit. You're going to mix in some more Ingram, and of course, it's going to take some time to get Kamara established in that offense. But I think off the skill set alone and off that explosiveness that Kamara gives you off the catch,
he's worth a late round flyer.
Yeah. Yes. And I think that Adrian is going to have double-digit touchdowns if he stays healthy. I think he's going to easily have double-digit touchdowns.
I can give you that.
They're going to spread it out. They're going to spread it out too much, and there still ain't too many people that can tackle Adrian one-on-one.
So I think Breeze going to have 35 touchdowns. AP have maybe 10 or 11.
I pencil in Breeze for 36 touchdowns and 4,700 yards. I pencil in Adrian Peterson for 550 yards and 12 touchdowns. I pencil in your boy Thomas in for 1,500 yards and 11 touchdowns.
There you go.
I think some things are just going to stay the same in a Sean Payton offense.
Exactly, and I feel Ingram going to give you at least. I think he can give you about 800.
600. I think Ingram can give you about 600, 650 because of the fact that I think that they're really going to do a real 3-man rotation. I really think that they're going to play all 3 of them, and that's the only reason why I don't see Ingram getting more, because I can see Peterson getting 550, I can see Ingram getting 650, and I can see Kamara getting another 400.
Well,
okay, I can get down with that.
You know what I'm saying? If they do it with a 3-man rotation like that, I see it split like that to where they actually all get a chance to contribute significantly. But unfortunately for us as fantasy players, it's not going to make them very viable overall as far as being workhorse backs.
That's why I kind of want to stay away, because you never know who could pop off. Because
it's like depending on Green Bay's receivers.
Like what was the guy Ingram was splitting carries with last year that was having crazy games?
Oh, you talking about the big salad that went to what is his name? Oh, Jesus. He went to the 49ers.
How do we all get stumped on the same?
I know, right?
Damn it.
On the same. But you said
it's gonna come back to it.
Was it Sean Drawn?
No, it wasn't.
No, it wasn't him.
It was the guy that retired.
He retired and came back, and he killed in the play. Tim Hightower. He killed in the playoffs. Oh, he killed in the fantasy playoffs.
Man,
he was a beast. But DeMarcus, what were you saying? about
want to know, as far as Michael Thomas is concerned, how many receivers are you comfortable taking Michael Thomas ahead of?
shit
It's off the
like
top of
a
your head.
lot. I have him. I'm
Like, where do I have him ranked? I have him as a top 15 fantasy wide receiver. Easy.
I got him
Top
at 8.
15 easy for me.
I got him as a top 8 wide receiver, and if he falls, I feel like he's
That's
gonna
that love
fall in the
affair
draft.
talking right there. That's
See,
that love affair talking.
see, and you say that, but think about this. Think
I
about
like
this.
him though.
I have
But
him.
no, I mean it's a legit spot. Honestly, that's not too high. That's not a stretch.
I think I take Michael.
This is the thing about Michael Thomas. I see him having, like you said, 1,500 yards, but I also see him having like at least 80 plus catches. On top of that, I see him having.
Oh, I'm not
more than
lowballing him
11.
like that. I think Michael Thomas is gonna have close to 100 catches this year. I think he's gonna have close to 100 catches this year. Honestly,
And I see him having at least 12 to maybe 14 touchdowns. Boom, that's top 8.
and the only reason why I put him at 11 is because I think that they're gonna take advantage of more situations where they spread it out at the goal line, a la Green Bay, and run the ball because they have somebody like a Peterson. That's the only reason why I put him at 11 touchdowns. But I wouldn't be surprised if he scored 15.
What did Marquise Colston always get his bread and butter in the red zone?
Oh yeah, but I mean Marquise was a little bit more savvy.
But you gotta look out
at that red zone.
Fleener be pissing you off because he'll get 2 touchdowns. He'll get 2 touchdowns and don't score for 10 weeks.
But you know what, Fleener?
I feel like DJ Khaled with this another one.
But what does Fleener do?
You think he hurt? Fleener be so healthy out there. He be just.
But Fleener drops a lot of fucking touchdowns too. So
and that's my biggest headache with that dude, man. Like he got so much gas and so much hype coming out of college, and it was like, man, you're like night and day different from what you did in college, homie.
And Andrew Luck only made you look good for that 1 year.
Bruh, Andrew Luck got you paid.
Oh, no. You can thank Dwayne Allen for getting hurt that got you paid.
True.
Oh, no. Luck got him paid because if he wasn't catching passes from Andrew Luck, he wouldn't have never got drafted.
Exactly.
He wouldn't have never got drafted.
That was the glorified. Yeah, he did make him look good.
I think the one
they made that a combo meal when they drafted both of them together. I was like, oh, okay, that's the homeboy hookup.
Yeah, this is roommate. You know, the roommate thing works out sometimes.
Let's make him comfortable and bring a security blanket with him from school.
Look at Minnesota linebackers. They're gonna retire there. They're not going nowhere.
Bruh.
But I think the Saint that I'm gonna end up with on the majority of my drafts is gonna be Willie Snead. I think his 7th round value. I'd even take.
I like that sneaky undercover brother. I like that sneaky dude.
I'll take him early. I know Ted Ginn is gonna take away a lot of his deep balls, but
I do not think so. I do not think so, honestly, because I think that once Drew Brees gets a taste of a couple of them drop deep balls, he's gonna stop throwing to him because Drew ain't that dude. Drew is not that dude.
No, hold on.
Jeffrey Henderson used to do the same thing. He still do to Jeffrey back
Who else was dropping a whole bunch of balls last year? Kobe Fleener, and he kept on giving to him for whatever reason.
Brees don't give up on people.
But you got more options this year.
Kinda.
I guarantee you, rather than watching the drop, he'll throw a bubble screen to an Alvin Kamara.
Yeah, I mean,
that's true.
I think when you got more options, it changes up what you can do. And Drew is one of those few guys, whether people realize it or not, that still has that luxury when he sees fit that he can actually call his own plays as he goes.
Oh yeah. What?
So when you throw that in there, though, if a dude is pissing me off because he keeps dropping in these key moments, and I'm trying to get off of being 7-9 the last 3 years in a row, well, some things are just gonna have to come to a head.
Well, that feels even better for me drafting Snead. So thank you for that vote of confidence.
For sure.
I love it.
I don't really like Ted Ginn other than the special teams factor and the occasional deep ball, but I don't really think he's going to be involved in much of that.
I think Alvin Kamara can return kicks.
Well, let's get back. Let's get to his old team, the Panthers, because I'm not high on them boys. It's like you ain't high on Ted Ginn. I'm not high on the Panthers. I got them going 7-9.
So much salt in that voice.
I still have
so much salt in that voice.
I still have them at 9-7. This another one. Like it's always a dog fight in the NFC.
So what you have for the Saints? Didn't you have them going 9-7?
I got them both going 9-7.
I got them at 8-8.
Okay.
Like I say, this division, because it's one of those divisions where either a team could go 5-1 or you can go 1-5.
But it's gonna be.
And literally for me, I think that there's enough talent in that division that, like in my projection, the worst team in that division is 8-8. Mm-hmm. I don't have anybody having a losing record in that division. I think they have that much talent in that division and that much to offer in that division that
Like I was telling you, Wilson, I think these are the 4 best quarterbacks in any division you can find.
Oh yeah, in a grouping, it's an easy debate. It's an easy debate. When the old rickety crotchety grandpa of your group is Drew Brees, yeah, bro, your division is just fine on
They
QB.
division, they division remind me of like the NFC East. If you want to be serious about it,
Yeah,
just the amount
yeah,
of talent that is spread on every team. That you can get fantasy options on every team. That any team can really overtake the other team. It's
and you
always a
and you can
toss
make a
up.
legit case for just about every team winning.
Exactly.
This division, the NFC East and the AFC West to me are all three that same type of division where you can make a legit case for any of those teams in any of those divisions to be able to pull off an upset and have a surprise year and win the division. They have that much talent in it. They have that much overall talent from top to bottom out of all of these teams that you can interchange them at will if you want to almost and be able to make a pretty solid case for all of them having a shot.
Totally agree.
So what
100%.
you got? So we all got. So I got them going 7-9.
They're
Marcus,
my
you had them.
surprise.
So you got them going what?
They're
11
12 and 4
5.
for me. They're 12 and 4 for me.
12 and
Oh,
4.
12 and 4. Shit.
12 and
They're
4.
in the division. I got them at 12 and 4. I got Tampa at 11 and 5. I got Atlanta at 9 and 7, and I got New Orleans at 8 and 8.
That is a huge fucking bounce back you expecting, bro.
Man, you see a huge
Hey,
mountain.
but you know the funny thing about it, if you look at the history of this division over the last 6, 7 years, it's not
It's
surprising.
possible. Oh, it's possible.
They had 4 years in a row where the team that finished last in the division finished first the following year. It's not uncommon in this division, and that's why I say it's not a whole lot for Carolina to fix to get back to where they were. It's not like they just blew up and everything fell apart and all their talent left. They just need to tweak some things, and the ball needs to bounce their way.
And they still
The
do have that
NFC
defense.
South is the ultimate expression of the ball bouncing your way or not,
And
because literally a lot of times those divisions have been decided by a bounce of the ball, a yard here, a yard there.
True.
And they do have the defense, and they do have the defense that can
Exactly.
do that. But
Their
then again,
front seven keeps them viable.
The cornerbacks can still get exposed.
exactly, and that's
exactly their front seven is what makes them tick. That's their bread and butter. If their front seven is firing on all cylinders, it makes their secondary look better.
and I got them getting burnt by Matt Ryan, Jameis Winston, and Drew Brees. I'm not high on them.
I feel like I'm
year.
the only person concerned about Luke Kuechly though. Like I still don't fully understand what happened.
You have a different concern, or I mean, he has the same MO. He gets hurt.
He gets hurt.
He plays with reckless
last year
regard.
that was just getting hurt.
Sean Lee.
That was something completely different that we've seen because
that's you tired of getting hurt, and it kind of makes you shell shocked, so you get a little hesitant because you don't want to get hurt again.
Yeah, like
but he kept having them concussions, so yeah, he needed to sit out. Like he didn't need to come back. They weren't playing for nothing. They weren't going nowhere.
They wasn't. But what's going to change? I just hope he's.
If they come out competitive, there's no way in hell you're going to keep Luke Kuechly off the field. Luke Kuechly just didn't want to put himself out there to get hurt again for a losing cause.
That's true.
Like he said, they weren't going anywhere, so there was no point for the front office to put their face of their defense.
I just hope he can
on.
bounce back because that was the scariest shit I've seen on live TV.
So
I think he'll bounce back. I think he'll be all right. I think they're going to take every precaution necessary because again, they have history with this because there was a young man with the last name of Morgan from University of Miami that came before Luke Kuechly that played middle linebacker that was just like Luke Kuechly that ended up going out because of injuries. Most tackles in a Super Bowl game ever against the Patriots. He had 26 tackles. I'll never forget that shit. That's the most impressive thing I have ever seen in the Super Bowl.
So what about Cam? Y'all high on Cam this year?
I mean, at the 7th round price tag, I love it.
I'm pretty much even keeled on Cam. I know what I'm gonna get out of Cam. I'm gonna get a decent amount of running yards, possible double-digit touchdowns, rushings, and I'm gonna get $4,000 and about 25.
I think the rushing.
I think this was gonna go down,
and that's why I'm thinking Cam Newton. If you draft him for the 7th round, I'm laughing. Just like I laughed at people last year. Draft him in like first, second, third.
So you don't think that Cam can pull off 25 touchdowns passing and 7 rushing?
No, because I think Cam is going to
7 sounds a lot better than 12 or 11.
Cam's going to give you.
There's no need for him to score double-digit touchdowns now. He's not going to get them kind of opportunities. But as a quarterback, getting 7 rushing touchdowns is a pretty good damn thing fantasy-wise. Yeah, I mean that's pretty good fantasy-wise. We raved about Aaron Rodgers last season. And he only scored 4.
Yeah.
Okay. This is another thing that I talked about earlier. I feel like Cam Newton is going to have those rushing touchdowns because I feel like they're going to start focaling the offense through McCaffrey because he's going to get that attention. He's going to get that. He's going to be that type of difference maker. And you see listen what I say. Just hear what I say.
I
You
hear
say
you.
a la David Johnson. Look what David Johnson, when we were talking about him having no Spurs game. If they kind of tailor the offense to him like they did last year, no telling the type of production that they would have got that year where they could have went for farther. On this year, you can see that Cam Newton gets hurt. You see what him complaining about him playing through injuries and all this other crap. He's not going to be taking those options anymore. And I feel like a lot of their offense is not going to operate in the 10-yard range where he can take that kind of a flyer or something like that. I feel like they're going to score enough touchdowns. I'll give them at least maybe 28 touchdowns. But then again, you'll have a typical Cam, 14, maybe 15 interception type of year. And I don't see him really making that up on the run game with him running in those touchdowns. That's why I'm kind of low on him this year.
Spoiled we are. You know how spoiled we are.
Oh, I know I'm spoiled.
Nowadays, we sit and we fuss if a quarterback has 14 interceptions in a season, and I've seen quarterbacks win the MVP having 14 interceptions
Oh
in a season.
no. I'm not
The thing about it for him, as far as the comparison to David Johnson with McCaffrey and how they use him in the offense is valid, but you also have to offset it and realize that unlike David Johnson, ain't nobody in Carolina's offense catching 107 passes to take no heat off. Ain't nobody giving McCaffrey an opportunity to get targeted enough to catch 80 passes.
I still feel like Jay's still going to be the guy as the lead.
And Jason Stewart is going to start off as the starting running back in that offense.
Because he only got 1 year left, so that's why I agree with you. Marcus.
They're going to use him as a crash test dummy. They're going to start Jonathan Stewart. They're going to let McCaffrey get as comfortable as possible, and they're not going to rush him in there.
And then they're going to give him the keys. I do believe he's going to get
Curtis
the keys.
Samuel is going to get all of those day one opportunities. That's why I say Curtis Samuel is going to be the bigger impact offensive player this season than McCaffrey. That's why I say that.
McCaffrey will be worth it. Yes.
Okay, well,
because they're gonna use Artis Payne and they're gonna use Jonathan Stewart, and that's the thing.
See, that's the thing. Artis Payne showed nothing last year. He showed
but
nothing.
Artis Payne isn't expected to be the face of your franchise going forward. That's why I'm saying they're gonna soft shoe it with McCaffrey as much as they possibly can to get him as ready as possible. They're not going to take no risks of having him go out there and get hurt unnecessarily or anything like that when you got Artis Payne or you got Jonathan Stewart there.
See, and that's the thing. Okay, so that's the thing about it. So you said that Jonathan Stewart is in a contract year, correct?
Correct.
So he's going to be peppered more.
Well, he's in the last year of his contract.
Well, he's in the last year's contract, but that's usually when those people are trying to show out and show much of their game. But we know how Jonathan Stewart is. He
gonna miss 4 games,
and that's what I'm saying. And I feel like you said, I feel like McCaffrey, in my opinion, has that type of game-changing type of playability that is going to sell tickets, a la him getting more tailored to the offense, like Odell was. Those too many years ago.
The funny thing about that though, fam. I think in those situations where, say, Jonathan Stewart gets hurt, I'd be more willing to bet that Ron Rivera will put Samuel in the backfield and will put McCaffrey in the slot.
Okay, well, I mean, I hope so. But I mean, I'm just
because of the simple fact that they're thinking like we're thinking that McCaffrey is eventually going to be the face of that franchise. He's going to be the face of that franchise moving forward. They're going to take care of their baby. They're going to do what they need to do.
They got a bye week at week 11. I think those last 6 games, the playoffs for fantasy, I think that's when McCaffrey is going to show ass. Especially starting with the Jets, then backdoor with New Orleans. I think he's going to have 2 monster weeks. May struggle a little bit at Minnesota, but I still think like throughout the fantasy playoffs, McCaffrey will make his name known, and he will be a top 2-round pick next year.
Oh yeah, and then
you go through and you get down. I mean, when they, like you said, when they finish after that bye week, you got Jets, New Orleans, Minnesota, Green Bay, Tampa. I mean.
He's gonna break out at the Jets.
He's gonna break out. He's gonna break out at the Jets. He's gonna break out in New Orleans. He's gonna get bottled up by Minnesota. It's a toss up with Green Bay because it depends on where they play him at. Because if they play him at running back, he's not gonna get off against Green Bay. If they move him around in the slot and stuff like that, he'll have a better shot.
Can I make this comparison? So they have him in the 3rd round, which I think is too high. But yeah. But I have
holy shit.
But this is the thing that I have to say about that. This is the thing that throws me off sometimes when I'm looking at this. It reminds me of a DeMarco Murray, McHenry type of situation. For the simple fact is, you see the talent, and you see if Murray were to go down, he can take over and be that game-changing back that you need. Same with McCaffrey, and I feel like he may get slid in there as a de facto go-to guy because of the popularity of him just doing what he does and being that. You haven't seen a white boy do what he's probably can do. But that's my only high point on him. But I don't think he's a 3rd-round draft pick. Honestly, that's
Hell
way too
no.
high. That's way too high. Maybe like
I wouldn't
7 or 8.
take Dalvin Cook in the 3rd round at this point.
Yeah, that's like 7 or 8.
Hell no.
I'll take him like 7 or 8. That's way too high.
Yeah, I'll definitely wait. And
Somebody is sipping on some real strong Kool-Aid with that one. 3rd round? Nah, bro. I'm good.
Yeah, that's why they got
I'm
him
good.
going. I think it'll start to fluctuate though. I think it'll start to fluctuate.
Jonathan Stewart.
We're still in the early seasons of ADP.
I think once we get if I'm desperate at running back, I'll take Jonathan Stewart.
I'm taking Jonathan Stewart if I'm in.
I'll take him in the 11th.
Jonathan Stewart or Frank Gore? Which one?
Jonathan Stewart.
I'll take Frank Gore.
Okay, so you low on Jonathan Stewart, aren't you?
They pretty much the same. I mean, it's not too much of a.
Well, I've seen a more dedicated body of work from Frank Gore when healthy. That's the only reason why I give a little air
Frank Gore
to Frank
hasn't
Gore.
missed a game in
Frank Gore at least tries to produce and stays on the field, so I give him a slight edge.
So this is what I'm gonna run it at. So 4th round, 5th round, I'm going Jonathan Stewart. I'm gonna tell you like this: trade bait.
That's too early.
Did you say 4th or 5th round?
Listen what I'm saying, because DeMarcus
Daryl Morey.
Okay, but hold on. This is what I do: trade bait. Because guess what, Jonathan Stewart, I look at this all the time. I want production out of you. You are going against the 49ers, the Bills, and the Saints in the first 3 games, and you're in a contract year where you're trying to show out. I'm drafting you, and I'm going to sell you, and I'm going to get some maximum value, and that's how I look at it. If he's down there with the Frank Gores or the what's his name for the 49ers, I can't think of his name to save my life. The running back, Carlos Hyde. I'm taking Jonathan Stewart because I can package you off easily because I know you're gonna give me those flare games, and you may tail off against the Patriots. I'm gonna sell you high right there because after the Saints, I know you're gonna eat up because you usually do eat up pretty great against the Saints. And you got the Patriots next. I'm about to trade you off, and I'm about to
get rid of them after week 4.
Exactly, but that's how I play it, and that's just how the mindset. And that's why I'm kind of high on him if he's down there in that range. Okay. But if you talking about long term, hell no, I'm not drafting him in no fifth round.
No,
he's like 10th round to me.
There's some people that aren't even for consideration in deeper leagues and in keeper leagues, stuff like no.
If it's any Panther that I may have is going to be Greg Olsen off consistency alone.
Oh,
if I know for sure I want a top 5 tight end, possibly.
He burned me last year, though.
I mean, he had a good first half. The second half,
it's Cam fault because he tailed off.
He had that great game with David Anderson. Remember that?
He was balling, but man, Cam fell, and if Cam falls, Greg Olsen falls. So
the offense stalled. So I still think Greg Olsen's going to get his targets, and this is one of the few.
Greg Olsen's going to be legit. That's the only skill position player that I would be comfortable touching at this point. I would take a flyer on Curtis Samuel off of the big play potential.
Yeah. And he's not even been drafted, so yeah, you can definitely take a flyer.
I take a flyer on him immediately because I know he's going to play early and often, and he's going to play everywhere. That's going to be their slash this year. Because he's going to be involved in a return game too. He's going to play running back. He's going to play wide receiver. He's going to get a ton of touches. Before we get out of here, guys, what's the number 1 player in the NFC South that you have to have on your team if you could have a choice? You go first. For me, number 1. Oh, go ahead. What you got? For me, number 1 player in terms of fantasy purposes, if I had to pick pound for pound from any team, and I'll get past the obvious because I'm not going to make a quarterback a selection because for me, by default, it would be Drew Brees. True. But if it wasn't a quarterback, at this point, I honestly would say Devontae Freeman. Okay. Oh, right. Okay. And you say Freeman, I say Mike Evans. Okay. Or Michael Thomas. One of them mics. You can't go wrong with one of them mics. Nothing wrong with that. You can never go wrong with a mic on your squad. You know what I'm saying? I'm still gonna think it's my guy Doug Martin. I really believe in him this year. I think man, you got that Rudy belief. I'm not mad at you. I always find that one running back. Last year was Melvin Gordon. This year, my Melvin Gordon is going to be Doug Martin because nobody's going to be checking for him. I'm a bad talker in my all draft. Like, he trash. He ain't going to be playing first. Oh, no. This year's Melvin Gordon, homie, is going to be one Ty Montgomery. You can book that. I can see that, man. You can book that. Nice I'm telling you that right now. Ty Montgomery's going to run for 1,100 yards. I kind of like Joe Mixon a little bit better than Ty Montgomery. Man. I like Joe Mixon more than Ty Montgomery overall because of the fact that he's going to work into the offense a little bit better, and they just run the ball more than Green Bay does. But he still has a lot to contend with by committee over there than Ty does in Green
No,
Bay.
I
Because you
can
still
dig it
got
though.
Giovanni Bernard and you still got Jeremy Hill over there, and they're going to use all three. But Mixon is
Giovanni
going to get
Hurd
his.
and Hill out
I
there
can't
with
wait till we get to
lately
this
though.
AFC because
I know, right?
Mixon's going to get his. There's
Yeah,
a
Yeah, man.
lot of sleepers in that AFC, buddy.
Oh, yeah,
Yes, sir.
we're gonna kick it off with the AFC West on the next special. Before we get out of here, guys, anything you want to say?
Oh man, check out that what's that show on BET?
Tails.
Tails, yeah,
Free,
check
free
that out.
plugs. BET gonna have
Queen
to pay us something, man.
Queen Sugar, check that out like always. Also, check out that Spider-Man that Planet of the Apes will be dropping on Friday.
Oh, it's a
I'm
lot
gonna
of
On
good
my
shit coming out.
birthday, let's get it.
Yes, sir. I will be
Oh,
reviewing.
yeah,
Hey, Marquise, if you check it out, we can review that next week.
Oh, that's happening, homie.
Okay, then we can review
so
that next
good.
week. And then
Because for
also,
me, I went and saw Spider-Man because I am a comic book geek. I've been reading comic books since I was 3 years old.
I was going to check
I
it
am
too.
a world-class nerd, and I will tell you off top,
Ain't no
I
such
am
thing as
a
nerds.
man. I
People.
am a super duper hardcore comic geek,
I'm with
and
you, Marquise. I am too.
I'll tell you right now that Spider-Man: Homecoming, pound for pound, is the best comic book movie I have ever seen.
Okay, well that's great. I'm glad you said that because me and
Like by a wide margin. They finally got their franchise player back at Marvel, and they did not disappoint.
well,
They made a great movie.
me and Shantae gonna check that out because my
Please do. It's awesome, man. I think you'll love it.
my favorite comic book movie for pound, and it's not everybody else's. It's Batman Begins, but that's mine.
Solid movie. Solid movie. It's legit.
Oh, but then also Game of Thrones is dropping on Sunday, so everybody need to check that out.
Please believe it. And congrats to the American League for pulling out this 2-1 extra inning win in the All-Star game.
Oh man, I forgot about the All-Star game.
They just won it in 10 innings. It just ended. They won it in 10 innings. Robinson Cano hit the go-ahead home run.
Oh, of course, that boy Rob holding it down for Seattle. But Wilson, man, I hope you have a safe trip. Get back to us so we can talk about
Appreciate it, man. Can't wait to get back at it. Can't wait to get back at it.
To you
Appreciate
and your
it,
wife, man. Yeah, exactly, man. But as for now, this has been Fish and Grits, and you guys have just been served.
Y'all enjoy.
Peace.